Hi, everyone. Welcome to Club Rats. My name is John.
Billy.
Jesiah.
Fernando.
We have our special guest here, Faraz, super Knicks fan. It's kind of a tough day for him here after the brutal loss. Faraz, obviously, we want to ask you what were your thoughts of
Choke job, right?
Of that game and how it went down. Give us an insight as a true Knicks fan.
It was there was a game. I didn't think, to be honest, that I would live to see another day where the Knicks would have a worse choke job than 1994. And somehow they exceeded my expectations. And so, yeah, they find a new way to disappoint me every time.
What was the worst part of it? Was it
seeing it come in slow motion? You know, like when you blow a lead that large in that small amount of time frame, it's when Naismith is going off, hitting three after three after three. You kind of got the feeling that about to see.
Didn't his dad invent basketball?
He did. Famously, Aaron Naismith, son of James, and they really took it to the Knicks. And I thought I saw it all in the Boston series, and I was proven wrong.
Do you think you guys had a chance in overtime, or once it got there, you're like, it's over?
The vibes were bad, man. Once
I saw OG and Cat arguing on the bench,
4.
too.
I think
the Knicks got up 4.
I think that, it's clear when a collapse like that happens, just the entire team was just shook. You know, they weren't up, did not rise to the moment. And really, I actually kind of point the finger a little bit back at Tibbs, because if your star players like Brunson and Cat, if they're not able to settle things down, really the only choice, it has to be on the coach.
It was weird. It was like he lost total control. It was like they just lost it. Free fall.
They just thought it was over, probably.
Yeah, and I think there was a report today that came out on ESPN where the Knicks admitted, they stepped off the gas. It's like, well, no shit. Like, if you lose a lead that big, yeah, you for sure kind of took things for granted.
Yeah,
this is the Eastern Conference Finals.
14 with 2:56 left, right? Is that what it was?
It's the first time. It was 0-90, 970. Now it's 1-970.
It's a good company to be in.
So,
one of one, exclusive clubs. So,
and they've come back multiple times in these playoffs, being down by a lot. Like they were down by 8 to the Bucks with 46 seconds.
They've done there's a stat where it's happened 4 times. They've done it 3 of the 4.
Yeah. It's insane.
Like down
Just
7 with 50 seconds to go when they win the game. Still, it's unbelievable. Bill, as a Celtics fan, the team that couldn't beat the Knicks, how did you feel about it?
It was nice to see somebody else kind of get that feeling of just like despair when everything is kind of going wrong and you could just see it happening, but you're in like you're watching a horror movie and you can't stop it. Like, no, Mike Myers is behind you with a knife.
Turn around!
You can't get him to do it.
Game 1 and 2 to the Knicks, when you guys lost, were not exactly the same, but you guys had 20-point leads in both those games and ended up losing. So it is similar to a point.
It's very similar. What I wanted to ask Faraz, because there's a lot of young people that say Brunson, best Knick ever. You know, there's all this kind of crazy talk, even though there's somebody courtside that's a better Knick that actually has a championship ring. Where would you put Brunson all time on the Knicks? I know it's a bad day to ask this, but he has had a great season.
He has the most 40-point games ever, tied, right, as a Knick in the playoff?
He's definitely ascending up that ladder, right? Can't deny that, because he's been phenomenal since he's been in New York. But he just got to the Eastern Conference Final. He still has to add, a few more notches under his belt before he can kind of enter that.
Is he
category.
top 5
of all time for the franchise? Yeah. I would say no, not yet. You
top
have
10. Who's for sure better?
Who would you put above him?
Yeah,
the 5.
Name the 5 for sure better. Patrick Ewing.
You have to have Patrick Ewing, Melo, Frazier,
Bernard King,
and Frazier. Those 3 for sure.
Even you could go Willis Reed, Earl Monroe. These are
like Jesus, right?
I agree.
These are guys that are at least
West Philadelphia.
They just have the body of work, and I think with Brunson, he just has he's got a little bit more work to do, especially after last night.
I'd say if he makes the finals, you could put him in that.
I'd say that's probably a little bit more of an argument. Yeah,
they got to make a finals first.
If he wins it, he'll be the greatest Knick.
No, if he wins it, he can say whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah. When's the last time the Knicks won a championship? 72?
1973.
73. God, it's 45, 44, 43 years ago? No, 50,
52?
52 years ago?
Yep.
Oh, God.
So
Is there any part of you that would have rather had the Randall, Hardenstein, and DiVincenzo Knicks versus this team?
Yes, and for one reason in particular is that team could defend. This Knicks team, even with Mikal Bridges partnering up with OG, it hasn't resulted in the same sort of defensive structure that we're used to seeing from Tibbs teams, especially the last couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
So where do the Knicks go from here? Where do you guys think they go from here? Can they...
I mean,
is the series over?
No.
Or you think...
No,
I think
not.
they win game 2. I mean,
it's a must-win.
It's hard to win, or it's hard to lose 2 games at home. And I think the
Well, it's
Knicks...
not that hard.
I think it's over.
I don't think it's over because
I don't think it's
the funny thing is that everybody keeps going back to that the choke game that Reggie Miller had, and the factoid that doesn't go along with that is the Pacers ended up losing that series. They didn't win that series.
They didn't win that series. It's true.
So I mean I kind of feel like if you're the Knicks, you kind of have to look at it the same way. It's a game. Series isn't over yet. It was always going to be a tough series just because of the way the Pacers play.
Yeah.
And the Pacers, right now, you could kind of say they're almost like the team of destiny.
The
way they won some of those the Bucks series and
The
First of all,
the
the
Cavs,
but even the shot that we're not even talking about the shot that Halliburton hit. It literally
that was
hit back iron.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Goes directly straight up into the air and goes right through the hoop. I mean, you can watch a basketball game and maybe see that once a year, a shot going like that.
It reminded me of the Kawhi shot. That was the only thing even close to it. And even that didn't bounce that high.
I mean, it went 15 feet in the air.
And we all play too.
With no time left. I mean, it was...
Yeah. And we all play too, obviously much lower level than them, but you don't see shots like that go in. If it hits back iron, usually it's ricocheting
It is
the other way.
That was a very rare
And
shot.
all his momentum's going backwards. He's trying to get that 3. It's unbelievable, that shot going in, and it is pretty much like the Kawhi shot. Just the way it was so unbelievable when it went in. Fair, what was your favorite part about that game? We,
The Halliburton choke
haven't heard
sign,
from you,
of
yeah.
course.
That
The
was
Halliburton-
insane.
The last time I've seen
With
anything
Reggie
up
Miller
that
being
high,
there
the
too.
pilot said that we're going to be experiencing turbulence, and it went in, dude. It was just...
he
It
earned
was unbelievable, dude. It was unbelievable. It was awesome. He had his moment. I thought it was a 3 at the time as well. It sucked when it went into overtime, but at that time they had all the momentum. They played well. I do think the series is over. The Knicks only rotates 7 players total, and the Pacers just run up and down. I don't know if they could keep up with them the way the Pacers play.
They can't. I agree with that point. If they do try to, if it's going to be another shootout like last night was, they're not going to win that series.
Yeah, they're going to have to defend a lot better, but I just don't see it, like you said, from this Knicks team. And like you just pointed to, the Pacers look like they're a team of destiny, and I think this is their time.
Who's the X factor for the Knicks for them to step up and win Game 2?
Has to be OG.
OG?
Just because he really didn't. I don't think he really showed up until probably it was the slow motion disaster was already really in process. But
Is it too early to say he's having a bad series?
I would say he's definitely having a bad series, and bad series are famous around these parts.
They can happen to anybody.
They can happen to anybody.
Do you guys think this series is the Minnesota? We're watching the Minnesota
over.
Thunder game right now live. Western Conference Finals. It looks like the Thunder. They're up 22 already. They won Game 1 by 20 something. You guys think this series? It looks like a formality at this point.
I thought it was going 5 already. So what I predicted, Thunder win both games at home. They split the series on the road, and they close the series in 5 on their home floor. But at this point, they might sweep them. I don't know if the Wolves have enough firepower, defense, and we clearly see a different whistle being played on both sides. Seems like the Thunder are at the line every other possession. The Wolves aren't getting that same type of whistle. So you can also argue that side where, since the whistle isn't being blown, it favors the Thunder.
Speaking of that, what do you think of the way this whole NBA playoffs has been officiated?
It's been great up until the conference finals. I thought they got rid of a lot of the foul baiting. Except for the SGA portion of it, it's been
We're
really
only
physical.
through 1.5 games. We're not there yet. So next game could be totally different.
But you think about all the other series that we saw. Those were wars.
I agree. I thought Brunson got a little bit against the Pistons. He was flopping around a little bit. That's his game. That's what he does.
I feel like only 2 players, which I've said in our previous shows, only 2 players have been getting the same regular season whistle, and that has been Brunson and Shea.
I feel like Shea's gotten more.
can't
Though.
stand
Shea has gotten more.
I can't stand him for that reason. So it's not fun to watch.
It's not only that. It's not real ball. It's
No.
it's fake. I don't
it's-
like it. It's
It's
like the
pussy-
reason why I'm
pussy
not a fan
shit.
of Harden and like those Rockets years. They're changing the game for him. You know.
Yeah, I hate it, dude. It's unbearable.
And I think especially when you have that in conjunction with the fact that in these Thunder Wolves games, like they're not close, so it makes it even less appealing as a fan just
Yeah.
to kind of get engaged with the game itself. Because if it's not competitive, it's one thing, but if it's not competitive and there's no pacing to it because every other play is being blown for a dead whistle, it really impacts just how enjoyable.
And
watching
Caruso,
the game is.
the Thunder do it on the other end, and the teams don't get calls. Like Caruso, Williams, they'll all just reach
Dort.
in, foul, Dort.
I mean,
it's
they are
okay when they
physical
do it.
defenders.
They're,
Like,
they're
yeah.
grappling on the other end, but you breathe on Shea, you look at him wrong, he's going to open his mouth and scream, "Man, one," and the refs give him that call.
Exactly.
but especially this series, it's just because of the talent. Like the Wolves were a lower seed; they
For a
barely
reason.
made it out of the play.
Let's face it, Curry didn't play.
Yeah, they
And
got a
that's
lot of
huge.
luck in their matchups, like
That's a
who they
big
played
deal.
against. So that's really also the thing is it looks bad and it's not fun to watch because OKC's just that much better than them. Like obviously the fouls are just going to compile it, but even without it, OKC should never lose a game to these teams.
Yep.
They have like 2 starting fives almost compared to.
Can the Pacers or Knicks beat them? I think the Knicks would match up, or excuse me, the Pacers would match up better against them.
The Pacers will play the math game. They'll shoot a lot of threes, and they are deep. So like they are kind of like OKC where they can run like 8 or 9 deep, but it's just a completely different thing. Like the Thunder are just so much better than everybody else right now.
Well, also, will Shea get the same whistle in the finals?
Yeah.
I mean, are
I
they
think
going to give him?
the only team that could have beat them are the Celtics. And we all know.
Are we watching the beginning of a dynasty here with the Thunder? Because don't they have like
They won't be
don't they
able
have
to
like
afford
multiple
it,
first round
everyone.
picks?
I think we gotta, especially after what we're reading about the Celtics nowadays, I think we have to curb this, the dynasty talk.
Oh, yeah.
just because the way the NBA is nowadays, OKC is going to be coming up to the same kind of quagmire that Boston has.
Yeah, they're gonna have to
They're
break
gonna
them
have-
up.
There's not enough.
They got picks though.
They do, but the picks are only going to serve to. The picks will really only come into use to replace something that they have to lose because they can't pay.
Yeah.
They're going to have to eventually probably decide between Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren just because how are you going to pay everybody?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't give 3 maxes.
Is that kind of like the Buck and Harden thing that they're going to have to come to?
And it's going to be deja vu because the Thunder made the finals with Harden, KD, and Russ, and then literally the next year they broke it up because that owner, he does not pay the luxury tax. He just will not. He's very cheap. Second he bought the team, he moved him out of Seattle, and he spends his money very frugally.
Well, they wanted to pay a player on that team,
Surge.
Oh yeah, that is
and Kendrick Perkins.
Have you seen Kendrick Perkins? Did you see him stand in the tunnel next to Stephen
He
A?
looked like Windhorse.
He's a monster.
Yeah, he's very big.
He is.
That
He's
is
like
a large man.
He is massive.
Yeah.
But when it's going to come down to paying like Jalen Williams $300 million because he made All NBA this year, and then whatever you're going to pay Chet because do you trust Chet can stay healthy? I think we're going to see a very different OKC team in the next 2 years.
Oh yeah.
I agree.
And let's not act like SGA is young. I mean, he's the same age as Tatum. He's the same age
He's like
as a lot of
27,
these
right?
guys.
Yeah. He's not a spring chicken, as Chuck said yesterday, twice.
You think SGA is better than Tatum, John?
I wish I had his whistle, but
God.
that's about it.
I don't like either one of them, to be honest with you.
I don't even
The
think
thing
it's
about the
close.
only thing I'll say about SGA, the team responds better to him. I feel like with Boston, it's like, is it Brown's team? Is it Tatum's team? I don't know. We're on with the Thunder. It's for sure SGA's the guy. There's no like argument, even amongst fans. It's a clear number one option. With the Celtics, I've watched the Celtics. They're a fascinating team because when you look at Tatum, when you look at the stats, everything says he's the best player on the team by far.
And the accolades and the
He didn't win the Finals MVP.
No, but he leads.
He didn't
led
win
the
the
team
Eastern
in
Conference.
points, rebounds, and assists.
He didn't win
and
the,
steals.
but that's my. But he didn't win the Eastern Conference MVP either. So when I watch him, at the biggest moments, I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. He doesn't make me feel.
You're not
I've never
sold.
been high on Tatum. I don't hate him like everybody hates him. I'm not hating him on I'm more reasonable about it. But as just a basketball player, I don't know if he has that thing that just puts him over the top.
You think it's
for me.
just not vocal or what?
Well, he by nature he's a jump shooter. You know, he's not like to the basket. So I think just by his game alone, he's not super aggressive. I think that kind of just he's a finesse player. He's a jump shooter. He takes jump shots, and when he's on, he's amazing. When he's off, it's a struggle.
I think he kind of also probably, I actually think really unfairly, gets probably not as much credit as he deserves.
He
Kind of
gets
to that point.
He gets a lot of hate.
And I think that's a product of the Celtics. The last few years, they've been just kind of a juggernaut.
For
Well,
sure.
they've been good since he's came into the league.
Yeah. So when you have a player like that who comes in and he's been a great player since he started, but I feel like that kind of recognition is escaped him because the Celtics have not necessarily taken gigantic leaps with them. More kind of they've realized really their potential.
This Celtics run, you guys probably aren't familiar with it, but it's a very 90s Atlanta Braves. They won like 100 games every year. They were great for like 15 years. They were in the playoffs every single year, but they only won one championship. Like great team, always competitive, but they only got the one title, and that's kind of what.
I mean, it's
Boston
also
team's-
very similar to the 08 Celtics. We won our championship. We were great, but the next year when we're supposed to go back to back, our
But
best player gets hurt.
that was
and then we were constantly good, but we never got over the hump.
But
And then-
this Celtic team was a team they drafted that grew together. That was a team that they traded for KG. They signed Ray Allen, or did they trade for him? I'm not sure.
Trade.
Traded.
So they traded for those two guys. Now Pierce was the one guy that was on the team forever. But I look at those Celtics teams as two different teams.
This is actually a big debate in Boston. Would you rather have like the Celtics where you're good every year and win one title, or would you rather be the Red Sox where you get two titles but then you're absolute dog shit the rest of the years?
Flags fly forever, baby. You got to take the
Take
You know what
banners.
though?
Take
Let
the
me,
banners.
I mean, that's easy to say, but
But they traded Mookie Betts. Like
as a Piston fan, you could say this as a Knicks fan too, Faraz, because they're maybe worse than the Pistons as a franchise.
Oh, undeniably.
So, but when you go years where you're just awful, I think that's more detrimental.
it's
I'd rather.
I
be
think it's worse.
consistent.
I think it's better to be closer because
Well, I mean-
something can happen. You can get lucky.
What about like the Cowboys though? They've been consistent for all these years, and they don't.
But they
win.
haven't made the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Boston's at least
Celtics
been to
made
the conference
finals.
or finals. Like they're there.
Well, yeah.
The Cowboys they lose in the first round.
Yeah, we're not talking just make the playoffs.
Yeah.
They might
We're
not
not-
make
but
it,
Celtics
like,
wanna run.
But they're still
There's a
relevant,
difference.
is
Like the
what I'm
Knicks,
saying.
the Knicks case is not
Yes.
like
They
mediocrity
don't make the
to like
playoffs.
winning.
Yes.
Winning. This is like 2 decades of just
Yeah.
utter incompetence. Probably the worst run sports franchise of
Ever.
the major professional sports leagues.
The Lions
In-
are.
in-
I think are
in the United
a
States.
conversation.
I think the Lions'
but
window's closed.
I think
Not
I
to
said
switch
that
the
after the
topic.
game. I said that.
That was their last chance.
Yeah, I believe that.
But I want to circle back around to a point earlier because we were talking about the Thunder and how they're likely going to be a very different team in a couple years. And I kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier. A lot of that discussion, especially after the Knicks Boston series, has been revolving around what's going to happen with Boston. This was a team that was looked at as I picked them to win the title coming
Yes,
into the
They were the
playoffs.
favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like that wasn't an unreasonable,
Choice.
take.
Yeah.
But now with the realities of the NBA being as what they are and the apron rules, Boston's looking to be a very different team probably as early as next season.
So,
I want to
really-
ask Jesiah and Billy that. Do you think they just
Yeah.
blow this all up?
Yeah,
or
that's
what
what
do
I
they
wanted
do?
to get your guys' take on.
What does
you,
Boston do?
Well, Tatum's not going to play next season.
Yeah,
Let's already throw that
yeah,
out.
that's-
So you get actually an opportunity for a gap year. And this is something the Warriors benefited from when Curry got hurt and they were able to get in the lottery. Now they blew those picks because obviously Wiseman didn't become Anthony Edwards or any of these other guys that were in that draft, or Moody or Kuminga.
Yeah.
But it gave them a way to reset and rebuild without tanking. Like, just you throw 1 year away, and the Spurs famously did this too.
Spurs, yeah.
But
They
do you think the
sat-
Celtics are going to be able to bottom out like that? I personally don't. I feel like they're good enough to be respectable without
One thing too,
Playing team.
Boston, the city, are. I have Philly and New York as worse, but the fans are brutal. They're not going to just let them go like win 10 games.
No, and Jalen
They're not
Brown
gonna, like, be
and
cool with that.
Good, too.
But I'm saying they're not like it's a brutal
They'll be a
town. They're
playing
not going to just
team.
tank and be awful.
Yeah, Chicago blinks.
Yeah, Chicago's
And-
terrible.
yeah,
They haven't
and-
won anything since Michael Jordan.
Yeah, and they
They're
wind up in the
still terrible.
playoffs. They're playing
every year.
every year. Boston certainly, I feel like, will at the baseline be a playing team.
But you're giving Brad Stevens 18 months to rebuild a team because we're already counting next year as a loss. He rebuilt this team 3 times already. Like,
Who do they get rid of?
Yeah,
obviously?
so what is
Smart,
rebuilding?
Do they
What is
bring
rebuilding?
Like you
that
get rid of
look like?
Porzingis, you get rid of Holiday,
Yeah,
Horford.
Horford probably.
He just retires.
I mean, he's a free agent. If he's smart, he goes to the Lakers or the Rockets, one of these teams.
Yeah, because he's not going to come back to the ball. He can't
Yeah,
win.
there's no reason
Yeah.
for him to come back.
Go to the Pistons. I can't believe say the Pistons actually have a better chance to win a championship than the Celtics next year.
But like, I mean, obviously he still has
That's
gas in the
amazing to
tank.
say.
Like, there's no reason he should retire.
no, he can still play. Yeah, he could give you like
Quality minutes.
the Lakers would die for a player like that.
Oh, you'd
No,
start-
it,
Even like
they,
the Warriors beat the Wolves.
they would
They
still
probably
be playing right
Yeah,
now if
yeah.
Al Horford
I
was on
agree.
the Lakers.
I agree.
But
But those guys are gone. You would like
yeah, I would imagine, and it's not going to all happen in one cycle. It's not going to all happen in one summer. Maybe you move off of one of Porzingis
What do you do
or
with
Holiday.
White?
Oh, White,
He's staying.
Tatum, and Brown are the locks.
What about Pritchard?
I mean, honestly, I think he stays too. He's on a very team-friendly deal. What is it, 7-8 million?
Yeah, he's
and
really
he's still
cheered.
tied up for 3 more seasons. He ain't going nowhere. So those 4 are staying. I think Hauser might get traded. I mean, we already said Holiday.
Cornette?
Cornette's a free agent.
He-
Somebody's
he's
going
up
to
for
offer
an
him.
fringe guys.
extension.
You know, like if those guys are gone, it's not really going to change the
Dynamic.
ultimate outlook.
I will
of
say this.
Celtics.
I do think. I know you guys love him, but I thought Missoula. He didn't show me much this playoffs.
Well, he-
I thought he sat on Porzingis too long. I thought he should have played Cornette more. I mean, he had a guy on the bench.
I
He
mean,
get
it-
7 blocks in the game.
You're paying a guy $36 million.
I know,
a
but
year.
you got-
Hindsight is
But he can't
2020.
breathe.
We won Game 1 of the finals because of Porzingis. He is a shooter. So
that was
if one game
last year, though. Clearly, he wasn't. He didn't do anything like that.
But
in
he
the
did have a
playoffs.
great
He
game
has
against.
AIDS now, dude.
He might have AIDS. No, but he did have a great game against the Magic, so it shows he was so capable of having that big game. And with us lacking the firepower at times, yeah, you got to ride with Porzingis. Maybe one game his shot ain't falling, the next game his shot may fall. And yeah, you can argue they rode him maybe too much. But hindsight's 2020. We like Cornette as Celtics fans, but as like, well, everyone else, you probably don't know who he is. Fernando literally
No,
asked me
I know
the
who
day
Cornette is.
of,
He was a Knick.
who is
He was a
Cornette?
Knick.
Of course, you know him.
He does
That's
still
it.
have
He
the
played for
NCAA
probably
record.
the worst Knicks team I've ever witnessed.
Yeah.
Which is saying a lot.
It is saying a lot. But it's up for an extension this summer. I don't think the Celtics go over it. I think he's going to get probably 15 to 18 million on the open market for 3 seasons. Like I can see
There we go. Good foul.
I can see any team going for Cornette because he does play winning ball.
Did you see
But
that?
I mean, if the Celtics decide that they have, I mean, really, if they're going to try to recoup value and get assets, it's not going to be from guys like Luke Cornette. It's going to be
Yeah,
from,
he's a fringe player.
it's going to be for what decision they make with Drew Holiday and what decision they make with Porzingis.
Porzingis.
So, like, with
Even
that
Horford.
being said, like, what kind of player, what kind of assets as
So-
Celtics would you think is like, okay, this is? I mean, I feel like no trade is really going to be like, oh, that's a good one because just the circumstances.
So
of
Drew
this team.
signed for what, 2 more seasons, right?
Yeah.
And then Cornette's going to be an unrestricted free agent next year. So
This summer.
next summer, right?
No, this summer. He's gone.
Oh, okay. I thought he had 1 year left. I thought it was a player option.
No, he's a free agent.
Oh, okay. And then Drew, I've heard that people want us to attach picks to him, so he's not gonna get traded this summer. It's probably gonna be a few months in
He
trade
played
deadline,
really bad,
like
too.
what
he
you
just
said.
disappeared.
He didn't.
Well,
play
he has a bad
offensively at all.
hamstring. Like,
He wasn't
has
even
all
like the
things.
same guy. He kind of went at Kyrie in the finals, like outplayed
He
him.
was huge on the finals.
That's what I'm saying.
played
He was
great in the finals.
for a moment. I almost said he was the MVP for a minute. He didn't finish, but he
No, game 2
he was
like
still
the best player.
really
in that game.
good. And like I don't know, those guys didn't play to their level. Now Brown has torn his meniscus. He's probably not going to
Look at
play
this.
next year either.
Nah, torn meniscus. He might not
Partial.
even need surgery. So
He might not.
no.
He was
Okay.
playing.
Yeah, he played on it.
I mean, a
fine.
meniscus is not career ending,
Yeah.
but it's still not great.
I mean, all right. I would much rather have that than Achilles. So like,
That's my next question.
Achilles is the worst
Does-
injury you could
is-
have.
Does this impact Tatum? Will he ever be the same after this? I mean,
we
I
haven't
think
seen
so.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
we haven't seen it with somebody this young getting the surgery that fast. Like Durant had a Hall of Fame career after
he wasn't the same player.
I'd say he's still
98% of
But he
it.
played D though.
I don't know. I think he's,
His offense,
But that
still
also
can
might
score.
be a product of
His age.
His age.
He was-
the thing is that I think Kevin Durant, you can't look at him and be like,
I'm
he's
talking
dropped off.
and I'm
He
talking
could-
like
he has
micro
equal
levels.
shot.
I'm talking about like where he was. I did think he was better before the Achilles.
I think he's a
I think
top
he
3
slipped a little
shooter
bit.
of all time. That's a lot different. He you know what I mean?
I mean, he's one of the best scorers ever.
So
Yeah.
I mean, his production
Is it
hasn't
his,
tailed off really at all.
him getting
But
hurt,
that's what I'm saying. He
or
could
was
always,
it
his
age?
shot isn't going to go away.
He got hurt at what 30, 31. So
Yeah.
could you argue he's just out
Well,
of his prime at
naturally,
that
And
point?
he's bigger than Tatum too. Taller. He's a 7-footer.
Yeah. But anyway, the point I'm making is you could argue it's more so him getting out of his prime rather than just him getting hurt. Probably it's both of those, but Tatum is only 27. He got hurt. I think he
Well,
comes back the same essentially. He's already not much of a driver, as we just said. I don't think he loses much on the athletic side of things.
Nobody gets better after your tear Achilles.
I mean, we haven't seen somebody in this situation. I think he
I've
wasn't
never seen
done.
any player
I wasn't.
better than
I don't think he was done getting better as a player. I'm not going to say that. What's that?
Rodgers,
He
people
wasn't-
make fun of
he's not
Rodgers.
as
His
mobile,
stats
though.
weren't that bad, but playing quarterback's different than playing in the NBA.
Yeah.
It's a different.
Like, you don't think
And
Tatum
he's
can
40.
become a better shooter? You don't think Tatum can become a better player overall? Better ball handler, better this, better that? Like, he was already on the trajectory to keep getting better.
I don't know. I
I
feel
don't think
like
he's gonna get much better.
I
after
feel like when
27.
you're at that like 27, 28,
You are who you are.
you kind of are who you are.
If
for the
anything,
most
he's
part.
not going to be more aggressive. Because no, I mean, if you pull your Achilles out, that's going to mess with your mind. I mean, that's just human nature.
What happened to Hayward, dude? Gordon Hayward never came back the same.
He
Never the
snapped his
same.
leg in half, though.
Famous-
Yeah, that's
fractures. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot worse.
Hutchinson snapped his leg too, though, didn't he?
Yeah, he's already practicing.
He's
The
Well,
football
is he-
players are crazy.
That's different, though. It's totally different.
He didn't tear anything though either.
It was just a clean.
It was
break.
just bones shattered, like broke,
Did
snapped.
you see that
He
baseball
didn't tear his
player today?
Achilles.
His arm snapped.
Oh,
I didn't see
You
that.
saw it?
I didn't see it.
It's crazy.
So now let's get into kind of the more goofier side of the NBA, which in some ways is more entertaining. Do you guys think the NBA draft lottery was rigged? They
Yeah.
don't show the lottery, right?
As a Knicks fan, I can say definitively
Wait,
no.
hang on.
There is no fixing that has
Say-
ever
say-
happened in
say-
the NBA draft.
Say that again for us.
One more time.
There's never been an instance in NBA draft history where the league has fixed the results. I can say that with confidence.
As a Knicks fan?
As a
Yeah.
Knicks fan, it's
Okay.
never happened.
Do you guys
Probably.
think we think it was rigged?
I think they saved Harrison's life. I think he was probably going to, like, people were trying to kill him. He got security, and I think they were like, we got to save this guy's life. Because there's no way that they could predict, like, there's a handshake deal underneath the table saying, like, hey, we'll give you the first round pick if you trade Luka.
I think that's what it was.
Why
No,
couldn't they do that?
Because they were on page to make the playoffs with AD and Kyrie.
Well, they made the playoffs as a play-in.
No, they didn't. Play-in's not the playoffs.
Well, I
And
mean-
they weren't the 7 or 8
But
seed.
they would have made the playoffs if the injuries didn't happen.
Injuries didn't happen.
Yeah, and the injuries happened, and that's what allowed them to be that top pick. And then the coin flip deal with the Bulls, it was a 50-50 shot. And the last 2 times that they had that coin flip deal, coincidentally with the Bulls as well, have resulted in the Mavericks getting jumped up
Oh,
in the
so, I
draft.
mean, if I was
That's
gonna
how
say-
they got Luka the first time.
If I was going to say it was rigged, you would think it'd be rigged to go to Chicago. Chicago's a way better market than Dallas.
Well, the funny thing is
they
that
got
Dallas
Luka
is a
by
better
trading.
team,
Yeah.
though.
They traded for Luka.
Dallas is better.
Like
Yeah.
that they're going to generate more revenue if Flag is with Kyrie and AD. And they're
it's the
just
6th biggest market. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it was
It's-
just really.
it's
I mean, if
rigged.
there's any conspiracy, it's just to. The Mavs were, I feel like, on a collision course. To
Exactly.
Being just a real case study of a franchise that has zero direction and that has alienated its fan base in a way we probably haven't seen before in the NBA.
No, I can't think of.
they're going
I
to
can't
draft the
think of-
best Mav in history if he finishes his career there.
Should
It
they?
It is kind of crazy to have like 3 of the most generational white players you drafted all in a row.
I mean, it's Texas.
It's
It works.
And they got them all by accident because like Dirk fell to them.
This game's not over.
They traded.
They traded for Luke.
Traded.
Traded for Dirk. Oh, Robert Traylor.
Robert Traylor.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Tractor.
Yep, the tractor.
On the Big Ten.
And then they traded for Luka because Luka.
Trey Young for Luka.
Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, it's been 2,000 days since Ohio State beat Michigan in football.
Nice.
On the dot. That's a good stat.
Do you think it's rigged? The draft?
Initially, yeah, but
No
like
way.
it doesn't. When you start, thinking, wow, how do you miss that? When you think about it logically, no, probably not.
They still got a foul.
You know, probably not. But I don't trust the NBA though.
Yeah.
I don't trust those. I don't trust Stern. And I know Stern's dead, but it's just his.
What is he
it's
not
his
dead?
league.
You know?
No, but this guy is basically, if anybody else is
Adam
alive,
Silver is
it
like-
would be Stern. I mean, he's the closest thing to him. They're the same.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
So I think
He's in like Adam Silver's stomach, like
it
crazy.
wouldn't
like
shock
what?
me. Nothing would shock me in the NBA. We've had officials bet on games. We have players now betting on games on themselves to throw games. So nothing would shock me with the NBA. What I don't like about it, I wish they would show the lottery. Why can't they show it to us?
They actually have, if I remember correctly, the way the lottery works is they have an accounting firm that does the draw.
Because an accounting firm would never lie.
Well, that's what they pay for.
They let
That's-
the media in there. The
you
media's
always-
in there and watches it. They have like 8 or 9 of the best reporters. Like Zach Lowe's usually in there. Bonteb's, like all the ESPN guys are in there. Like they watch it happen, but it's not a TV show, and ESPN wants a TV show, so that's
Yeah.
why they don't show it.
Mhm.
It's pretty boring for them to like. It's not like they're just drawing ping pong balls with a
We would
team
watch
on
it though if it was on.
but it's just they're
It's a
drawing numbers.
combo.
I get it.
They're
They could
drawing
put
like
teams on
oh
it,
like
though.
1, okay, 4, 8, 16. Like
They
it's
could
not-
make
it's
it
not
more
good.
TV fun. They could.
How?
I mean, I don't know. Make it put the team logos on the balls.
But that doesn't.
The way the lottery works is it's actually more than one ball that's drawn. It's
Yes.
a
No, I
No, I
combination,
understand.
and then
It's like 100 balls. This team's got 20. This team's got 20. This team's got 20. Right?
and they're numbered, and then
Yes.
it's based on the combination of the numbers. Whichever team, I guess, got the luck of the draw. That's who.
Which is hilarious because if the Bulls didn't win that stupid game against the Lakers,
Yes.
they
They
would
would
have
they
got
would've
have
won.
got the pick, which is awesome. I love the Bulls just being awful. It's
Yeah, me
amazing.
too.
And the worst kind of awful, like right in the middle,
Totally irrelevant.
mediocre,
Nobody, they're like the Kansas City
irrelevant.
Royals. They just
Well,
nobody
just
cares.
like they're just going nowhere. Just going nowhere.
Is this game not over yet?
So,
I think it's over.
I don't think the
As
Wolves
a Knicks
have
fan,
a
you're saying it's
pacer.
over?
Actually, that's a
This
good
game is not
point.
over.
This is a 12-point game with 3 minutes left. So
The Thunder have not been playing well.
The Wolves don't have the team the Pacers have.
They don't
to
have
make-
Neesmith.
They don't got
I
Neesmith.
guess not.
Danny Ainge draft pick, by the way.
Oh,
I'm surprised they didn't call a foul.
this is a big. What do they call?
Shot clock.
Shot clock.
He rebounded though.
You see PJ call this one right there?
What's he famous for us?
Yeah.
Seton Hall.
Oh, okay. That's one thing he's famous
We
for.
lost to Michigan by a point in the national championship game.
That was a great game.
It was a good game. I rewatched that.
That game's actually. Is it that game that's better or the championship? It's the game
Oh,
before
the
the
one
championship.
before Illinois. They're
Yeah,
both.
they're both like
great.
ESPN classics.
Michigan won, I think, both games by a point or two.
But they probably should have lost.
Both of them.
Well, especially the first one.
Yeah.
So who do we got in the finals, guys?
I mean, you got
Pacers, Thunder.
You have who? Fair?
Pacers, Thunder.
Bill?
Pacers, Thunder.
John?
Thunder for sure. I'm not. I mean, I have to go with the Pacers, but I'm not super confident. I think the Knicks could still make it. I don't think they're out of it yet. The Knicks are a tough team. Mentally.
Frost?
Gotta go. Boys, still, even though as much as I don't want to, but at the end of the day, it's game one.
The one, if the Knicks are going to make it, they cannot continue that pace. They're not. If they score like at that pace, they got no shot.
I agree.
They're just. It's out of their comfort zone. They couldn't get a stop. Like they were so frazzled, they couldn't. They were forgetting who they were guarding. Like guys were just going uncovered to the basket for dunks. It was the total opposite of how they looked against Boston and Detroit.
I agree. And it's really startling that you brought it up. Like this is a team that actually showed resiliency against, in my opinion, probably the best team in the league, and they were able to, persevere and get through it. So to see that page.
Boston doesn't play fast though, like the Pacers, right?
No.
I don't think they do.
No,
No,
nobody
they
plays
don't.
as fast as
Yeah,
Pacers.
I mean the Pacers, they play it. They're the Pacers.
Them
They
and the
play at a fast
Cavs
pace.
play super fast, and that's why it was so shocking that the Pacers just blew them out the water, because the Cavs have been playing a high pace all season long, and the Pacers just, well, outpaced them.
That's why they're the
I think they're
Pacers.
a better
Right.
team, though.
But Frost, so you got Knicks versus, I'm guessing, Wolves.
I mean, that would be fun. That'd be fun, but let's be real. That's not happening. It's going to be the Thunder for sure.
Who wins the
and
title?
I think
Thunder.
it's pretty hard. You'd be pretty hard pressed to pick anybody besides the Thunder. You know, they look too good. They're a 68 win team. You know, and they had to
MVP.
set the record for the highest point difference. I know it's regular season, but like that kind of sustained dominance, it speaks to the quality of the club.
They'll have home court too.
And they have home court.
I don't think home court matters in NBA.
I don't think it does
Not as
either,
much. Not
but
as much.
I think they
Yeah.
have the one arena where it does matter a little bit. Like I don't think it mattered. I mean, like Boston and New York, it didn't feel like it mattered at all in that series. But
New
What
York
about-
lost game 1 against Detroit, right? So
uh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, game 2.
Well, you guys didn't
Yeah.
win a home game until like what, game 5 of the series?
Yeah.
Against Detroit.
yeah.
So
yeah, we couldn't win at home.
yeah.
We were better in New York. I feel like guys get up to play in New York though too. It's almost a disadvantage sometimes playing in New York
Probably.
for the Knicks.
Yeah, I mean, you look at
Because the
Halliburton
crowd's
last
going to
night.
turn on them. The crowd's ready to turn on them in 2 seconds. And
No,
they do. They turn on them. They're brutal. The Knicks fans are brutal.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, they suck.
Did you see
So,
them?
I mean,
They
suck.
Did you see them throwing trash on the Pacers guy in the street, the fan?
Oh, on
That was
the yeah, I
That
saw
was
that.
despicable.
They found that guy though. Halliburton likes going flying
Yeah,
around.
yeah, that's
that,
great.
was, that was before
That
game
was
1.
a game.
I know, but it was still kind of
Yeah.
bad.
Oh, it's horrible.
I mean, come on.
I mean, it's
They were fucking with Windhorse too. They
Yeah.
kept like they were
Yeah.
running up on him.
Yeah.
looking at it.
They're goons in New York.
I mean,
They're just low class.
Rabid
Bad
animals.
people.
yeah, they are,
Yeah.
but I love them.
So what's your opinion on Halliburton? Do you hate him? Do you like him? Are you
No, I mean,
indifferent?
I don't really hate any player in the NBA. Even like when,
Wait 1 second.
even when like when Trae Young was the player antagonizing Knicks fans, it's like, oh, you know, that's the shtick, right? You know, and it plays into the melodrama of like, oh, there's a villain in New York, and especially with Halliburton. I mean, it couldn't be scripted any better, being in the Indiana Pacer with Reggie Miller calling the game. No, I don't hate him by any stretch. Like I was telling you guys before we came on the air, I was screaming at the television when, and I don't remember the year off the top of my head when he was drafted a couple years ago, but the Knicks had the 9th pick in that draft, and they drafted Hallie's now Pacer teammate, Obi Toppin. And I remember just screaming at the TV because I wanted the Knicks to pick Halliburton. And so, like, you know, he's a fantastic player, and he's obviously taken to heart that
Most overrated
most
player.
overrated
I think that's
player
pretty cool,
comment.
actually. That's pretty cool.
And so he's really taken advantage of it. He's taken the moment. He's grabbed the moment with 2 hands and really
Right
grown a
around the
star.
throat too. 2 hands around
That
the
was-
throat.
Two hands around the throat.
was
Yeah,
amazing.
for safety. Yes, that's right.
For safety.
Does it bother you, Reggie Miller, calling these games? Do you turn it off?
No, I don't. He's a terrible announcer, but
I actually think he's
I like
fairly
Reggie
unbiased.
I was
actually-
laughing at Halliburton.
I mean, I don't. How can you not? You
That
know,
was-
and
everyone
unless
was
you were a
laughing,
Knicks
yeah.
fan,
Yeah.
like it was
I mean,
just
come on.
like
It kind of looked like a cartoon, the way he ran the pan, and like the way
It
he
was
ran
ridiculous.
backwards, and he just
I mean,
chucks it up. He already has an unorthodox shot as it is, and that like fade away, all his momentum
Honestly-
going backwards. It's ridiculous.
Regardless of what even happens the rest of the season, even whoever wins the finals, people are going to remember that shot more than this whole playoffs.
Yeah.
The
Probably.
choke is
Unless
gonna be-
something crazier
Probably.
happens. Something crazier would have to happen.
I mean, yeah, that the collapse is probably going to be unfortunately, the most notable moment of the playoffs.
This is literally the year of the collapses. We've seen
is.
multiple double-digit leads from 14 to 20 points for us multiple times.
The Cavs
Get
were up
blown.
by 18 or more 3 times in that series and lost 2 of those games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and lost in 5. Who would have thought the Pacers were going to not only win that series, but beat them in 5?
Comfortably.
Yeah,
I will
both
say
were.
before the playoffs, I would have thought it was. I expected a Cavs Celtics,
I think everyone.
I mean, everybody, yeah.
and then neither one made it.
And I mean, it's great for the NBA in one way, just because it says to them that parity is a thing. Especially in the history of the NBA, there's always been a concern about
Dynasties.
these teams kind of cornering the market and
Maybe
just
if-
becoming.
You have 3 small market teams that all had I mean,
Yeah,
they're all going to make the
gigantic.
finals. I guess Minnesota's probably done, but still, Oklahoma City's not a huge town.
But I mean, 3 of the 4, Final Four is nobody would have really
No.
picked them
No.
to be in the position that they're in. And so the way I look at it is that can't be anything but a win.
The
for
NBA is becoming college basketball, and college basketball is becoming the NBA.
Yeah, in a
Certain
weird way,
extent,
that's kind of how things are shaking out.
We had 4 number 1 seeds in the Final Four.
Yeah,
And
That-
any one of
that
those
doesn't
4 could have
happen
won the
often.
title. They all had a chance to win the title.
for sure. And you're not going to
They're
see
all single
Cinderella is
possession
not
games.
going to be a thing as much anymore. I think it's going to be much more of a one-off.
Yeah.
But now in the NBA, it's
Foul.
crazy.
Oh!
Like it's
He's looking for a foul after that.
Of course he was.
The ball got his body. He got Wilt Chamberlain slammed into the ground. and he's
He
looking
got
for a
spiked
foul.
like a volleyball.
Yeah.
But the NBA does go through cycles like this. Like
They
the
do.
70s was like this, where you didn't really have a lot
It
of
would just
team-
rotate.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
would be, the Lakers get one, the Celtics get one,
Seattle,
I like
the
that
Warriors.
better.
Hawks.
Warriors.
I like that a lot more. It's not as like just one team just dominating all
Yeah.
the time.
But it's going to change because like Wemby's coming, like the
Yeah.
dynasty's coming. It's just
Spurs
we
are
don't know
coming.
when.
Do you think there'll be any big trades in the NBA in this NBA draft?
well,
Like on draft
you
night.
got to look at number 2. Starting with the Spurs,
Like
really
is-
depending on what they decide to do, because I feel like they're in a
Where-
position.
Yeah,
Where
why
do you
not
guys
go
think-
after Giannis?
You think
They could
Giannis
go.
goes
They could
there?
really,
they should trade that and get
end
Giannis.
the rebuild early and put together a team that could
Win it
immediately
all.
make noise in the
Is
Western
Chris Paul
Conference.
coming back?
He should.
I think
Yeah,
I
I'll
think
see why
he
not.
is. I think he said he wanted to play a couple more
He's
years.
40, right?
Would you trade the number 2 pick for Giannis? Well, with other stuff, I'm sure they're gonna have.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 2 Castle,
I don't
probably
think they should trade
Johnson
Castle.
and Barnes to match contracts, and it's gonna be Giannis and a bench player, probably like AJ Green, something like that.
I think they should need to keep Castle.
No,
I mean,
think
if you have
I think
Fox,
Castle's
Giannis,
goes
and
into
Wemby,
that.
Chris
I'm
Paul
good.
is done.
I mean, they
this
could
year.
trade
Fox
Fox.
is the
Yeah,
point
they
guard.
could.
They could elect to
I'd
move
rather
Fox
trade
instead.
Fox.
Yeah.
I'd rather trade
And then
Fox.
3,
and keep
Philly's
Castle.
not going to keep that pick. They don't want Ace Bailey.
Yeah, Philly's another interesting one, but
I mean, they had a horrible season.
this might be I know it might not be the best use of the asset, but it might be the one way that they could free themselves of the
Paul George.
I don't like
It's-
those
it's
2
gonna be
Rutgers
three
kids
and-
that much.
I like Harper a lot. I mean, honestly, I think he's a stud. Bailey, I don't like his shot selection. I think he's a poor shot taker, but I think he'll be fine in the NBA. But Harper, I think is the real deal.
I have a lot of high expectations for this incoming draft class.
It's
I
a
feel
great
like
class.
It's going to be a really strong class, especially with
Who's the 4th guy?
So isn't he a
DJ
European guy?
Edgecombe is
Oh, from
typically from Baylor.
Yeah.
Or
Trey Johnson from Texas.
Trey Johnson from Texas is up there.
What about Broom with his 24.5-inch vertical?
He's not gonna get drafted.
He might be a second round pick.
I don't
you
even
know.
think
He
he
might
gets
just be
drafted.
signed or
Seniors
something.
are like those are the kind of like those
Second
like
round players.
second round
Yeah.
players
Hunter
like those
Dickinson?
are
Does he get drafted?
who?
No,
Hunter
he's
Dickinson?
coming back. I thought. No, he's
Isn't
done.
he his
He's already-
8th year of
No, he's
eligibility?
already
It's going to be a doctor.
He's
Did
like
you
a,
see
he
the
works for
Tennessee
Renaissance,
point guard
Car or
is
whatever.
suing the NCAA because they're taking away a year of eligibility?
Well, it's the
Zakir from Tennessee.
Zakai Ziegler
Yeah, Zakir.
for
Oh yeah, the little guard.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he was suing the NCAA because he's a 4-year player for Tennessee, and typically in the NCAA. You could have 5 years of eligibility as a
Grad year.
4-year player because you could take a red shirt.
Yeah.
So his argument is that, and it could be actually winning one, because there's money tied to it now this
Yeah,
time
and
around
NIL, yeah.
with the NIL. So the argument goes is that since he enrolled prior to start of NIL, and now since NIL has become a thing, basically saying that you have 4 years of eligibility or 4 seasons of eligibility in 5 years is basically unfair.
Yeah, and he's never going to make. This is probably the best opportunity to make. as much money as he
100%.
can.
You know, like nowadays with the way the NIL
He's not an
is,
NBA player.
like these
No, he's
NIL
not.
deals are by far the most lucrative deals. A lot of these, especially older college players that don't really have a professional career ahead of them, can
Exactly.
make.
At least NBA.
Yeah.
Samson also got signed to 4 more years. I don't know if you guys saw that. 4-year extension for Houston.
Well, I mean, he's done
I mean,
a fantastic job since he's been there.
He's won a ton of games.
Ton of games. Houston's become a perennial contender under him, and sending guys to the NBA too.
For a local question, Faraz, what do you think of Josh Pastner at UNLV as a new head basketball coach?
I mean, I think it's interesting, and I think that he can definitely, as far as his personality goes and his background in recruiting, it could be a big win-win. I like his energy, you know. No hating on Kevin Kruger, but it's just a different type of personality.
Yeah.
And especially nowadays when you're in Las Vegas, where interest in UNLV basketball probably couldn't be any lower. You know, having that
It is
that
bottom
kind
of
of
the barrel.
that ambassador who has a little bit more energy is important.
Do you think he could recruit?
He was a hell of a recruiter at Memphis.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean his
He was Calipari's guy.
his class that he's brought in this year, which is kind of different nowadays. We were talking about a college recruiting class because it's not conventional where you're thinking about your high school recruits. Now most of it's all transfers.
Transfer.
So I feel like he did an okay job, at least on paper. You know, putting together his first class, and I feel like that's UNLV has to get this one right because now with the Golden Knights and the Raiders and
the Aces.
and the Aces and
He's coming soon.
in general, just
There's so many other things to do.
and UNLV football. You know,
UNLV football is
UNLV
powerhouse.
football is actually
It was
now.
actually good.
Yeah,
It was fun
they're a
when we
top
went.
25 team.
Yeah,
And they
it's-
just got the Michigan quarterback.
They're going all the way.
I mean, they're spending money. They're spending money on the football program, and hopefully now they're going to be spending money again on the basketball.
Now, the college football committee changed the way they're picking the teams today.
Yeah,
There's
so-
not auto
Oh,
based.
yeah.
They're selecting like the
Yeah, I
the
like
best
that a lot
teams,
better. The
which is
top
bad.
four.
It was the
Arizona
last playoff
State,
was so stupid. How they had like Boise State was it a 3 seed?
4 seed,
Yeah.
3, or they might have been a 3. Arizona State
Arizona
was a
State
4, which
was-
Arizona State almost did beat Texas.
But they
They
were
should've
the 4
beat
seed.
Texas.
They weren't the
Yeah.
4
Yeah.
seed though. They misseeded that whole thing.
Yeah, Indiana was like a 6 or something.
That was not right. How they did all that.
Notre Dame wasn't a top 4 seed. They probably should have been, I think.
But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about UNLV. And I mean, I don't expect a tournament run or anything, but I feel like they could be close to it. You know, I wouldn't be like.
I mean, let me say this: as a fan of Michigan, we won 7 games 2 years ago, and then we got Dusty May, and he got a whole transfer portal. We made the Sweet 16, won the Big Ten tournament, and won like 27 games in just one season. So
Yeah.
it's, I mean, I don't know if UNLV will do that, but it wouldn't shock me if they won 20 games, which would be huge for them.
UNLV,
Who's that
their
behind?
football program also got a few former 5-star recruits to come.
Hmm. Yeah, Dan Mullen's been, I mean, crushing it, and that's kind of what they hired him for. But I'm glad.
They don't even have enough money to pay the rest of his contract. They have to find it as it goes.
That's actually not. That was kind of misunderstood.
It's not a 2-team parlay right now.
I mean, that's actually pretty common. You know,
I know.
That isn't like they don't when they sign
Like-
these contracts, they don't put aside that pool of money of guaranteed money and pay it out.
If he
It's
puts
just- it's part of the
210
budget.
if he wins 210 seasons in a row, he's gonna get a contract. He'll have his money
He'll have his money either this
for sure, and they'll even probably give him an extension.
Oh, yeah,
He won't
100%.
be here anymore. He'll be
He'll,
coaching somewhere
he'll
else.
probably be somewhere else.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen.
He'll probably be somewhere else. We got a final now in the Thunder Wolves game, and it was a real.
Barn burner here.
Yep.
Real narrow.
How about the Wizards?
Well, I mean, if you want to talk about bad teams,
They got a UNLV alum as a coach.
yeah, Brian Keefe.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh,
he's good.
he's good.
He's a player development guy.
Yeah,
so.
he's good.
Wolves are projected to get Jeremiah Fears at 6.
That's a good pick.
Alabama.
You mean the
Okay.
Wizards?
Who did I say?
Wolves.
No, he's not.
Oh, I
That's
said
not
Wolves.
Fears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not Spears.
Wizards. Sorry,
Fears?
Wizards.
Fears?
Not Wolves. Wizards are projected to get Jeremiah Fears.
From Oklahoma.
He's projected like DeJounte Murray.
Well, imagine being the Wizards when you're probably putting out.
Gosh.
I mean,
And
we don't
mediocre.
need-
last
they don't
year's
need a
Wizards
point
team
guard,
might
though.
have been.
One of the worst teams of all time.
I don't think I've seen a worse NBA team.
The Bobcats back in the day.
No, they had to make Okafor. Like who at least
Oh.
like he was
a guy though.
He was a professional.
he was a guy.
He was a
Adam
professional
Morrison.
player.
I don't know.
He's a champion, right, at UConn?
He
Yeah.
was. Yeah, him and Ben Gordon.
Yeah.
They won like 1 million games. They were awesome.
Calhoun, man.
Yeah.
And they had Gerald Wallace. All-star Gerald Wallace.
All-star.
What about the kid from St. John's? Does he have any draft capability?
Louise.
R.J. Louise.
He's actually in the
entered the
transfer
portal.
portal.
Yeah.
But I also heard he might go
He's not good
He's
enough.
not going to the NBA.
No.
He still has until the end of this month, I think. I think in the next 6 days he has to.
St.
decide
John's
what-
was ranked like second or third in the transfer portal
Yeah.
for best portal.
Yeah, Patino's cleaning up.
He's gonna do some shady stuff.
Michigan's actually number 1 right now, which is shocking. They're going to spend $8 million next year.
It's insane.
They're waiting for Axiel Lindenberg. From
Yeah,
UAB. He's the number 1 player.
He's the
in the
number 1
portal.
player, but he's staying probably. In the
Well, they're
draft.
going to give him like $3 million. Michigan might offer him $3 million. So it's like, is he going to get that?
Yeah, or does he go to the NBA?
It's tough.
I like
Florida
the
just-
Italian kid Duke got. What's his name?
Dane Sarr.
Yeah, it's tight.
Florida picked up a
Tying
couple
to
guys
Duke.
too.
I do.
Florida picked up Boogie Fland from Arkansas.
Yeah, he withdrew from the draft.
He withdrew from the draft.
I do have like a
So-
prediction. I think JJ Redick, will be the next Duke coach in like 2 years,
Really?
2-3 years.
You don't like Shire?
I don't like Shire. I think he sucks.
I don't
This
know,
was his
man.
year to win it, dude.
But he's just gonna
I
keep
agree.
loading up on talent.
They did
Like,
another one. They blew.
Against 13, 14
I mean, it wasn't as bad as the Knicks, but it was close.
Yeah, but I feel like-
just as bad.
If you do that in the Sweet 16 or Elite 8, like that's not gonna get you fired.
But that was the final
It's Duke
four.
though.
That was against in the
I
final.
mean,
four.
Coach
Or
K-
even in the Final Four. But I mean, then you have to look at it, the other things too. It's like he's a guy. He got Cooper Flag.
But you don't think Reddick could get
He just
Cooper
got the
Flag?
boozer twins.
Or no, he could. He definitely could.
Like, you know what I mean?
But I mean, like,
I could get Cooper Flag if I was
Yeah.
coaching Duke.
but like he's still getting like he's able to recruit. And it's actually funny you brought up Shire because it was a job he interviewed for prior to going back to Duke and becoming the second,
Coach K.
Coach K's successor. He interviewed for UNLV,
Yeah, we passed him.
and
that's the right choice.
Well, let's be
UNLV
honest.
passed on him.
Let's be real. He doesn't. If he didn't play for Duke, he's not the Duke head coach. The only reason why he got the job is because he's Coach K's guy.
Well, he was on Coach K's bench.
Yeah.
he
So
was
it's like
saying-
it's not like it was,
But he was going to pick one of his minions to be the coach. It could have been.
I mean, I'm sure Shire would leave UNLV for Duke. I'm sure.
I do think he's better than.
I don't think he
Roy
earned the
Williams'
job. Is
successor.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's better than the North
What's his name,
Carolina
Hubert?
guy with
Hubert
Davis.
Davis. I mean, I
Yeah.
think Hubert. What North Carolina's doing
He's
right
better.
now, Bill Belichick's getting engaged to that woman.
Oh my god.
Oh,
So
yeah, I saw
he
that.
is just.
She just got banned from
I
all
mean,
the facilities in there.
dude,
You saw
It's.
that?
I have to say, as a Belichick fan, not a huge fan, but I root for the Patriots because of Brady and all that. I am shocked. This is how he's ended up. I'm shocked.
I think
by
he's
it.
setting that up for his son, dude.
It'd be like Phil Jackson, like coaching at like
the girl or the job.
what's like a middle of the road
Job.
college
No,
basketball.
I mean, maybe both.
Because North Carolina's not, it's not like he's if he would have went to like Michigan or Ohio State,
Yeah, he's
or
not even going to the
Alabama,
top job in the ACC.
Yeah, exactly. Clemson, he's like they're not better than North Carolina State last year.
I mean, also it's weird that he
Yeah.
didn't get an
They were
opportunity.
decent. They were 500.
But I'm talking about Belichick was regarded as the greatest coach in the history of the NFL, coaching a mediocre ACC team.
I just think he's setting his son up for the job.
yeah, he wants to get.
I understand, but it is shocking.
I mean,
I don't
also
know
in the
really
same
shocked.
I feel like
thing.
Bill Belichick could pull some strings to get
To
his
get
son a job.
somewhere, yes.
Yeah.
His
It's-
son
it's
was
weird that
coaching.
he-
His son was
The
the
defensive
defensive.
coordinator for UW.
Exactly. He had a good job.
It's weird that he's
Better
not
job in
even
North Carolina.
getting an opportunity in the league. Like in the NFL, it's telling something might be off. Clearly, the league.
Oh no,
I mean,
well
might
no.
not like
him and
him.
Kraft is bad mouthing for sure.
Blackballing
And
him.
also, I have to say this for Bill Belichick. He's never won without Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He got fired with the Browns, and then as soon as Brady left the Patriots, it just went
Well, he made a
downhill
Super Bowl with Drew
rapidly.
Bledsoe.
No, he didn't. That was Bill Parcells.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
And
that
Tom
was the
won.
first Super Bowl I ever watched.
Tom won without him. So I mean,
Yeah.
it was on your team. So
He did. So, but still, I'm just shocked. He's doing interviews with a 24-year-old fisherman's daughter from Maine, and he's the North Carolina head football. It is bizarre. I don't think I'm saying anything crazy there.
Well, I think a lot of things going on in Bill Belichick's life are bizarre.
She's sucking the soul out of him. Right now.
I love it.
honey
I'm
packs
good
are
for
going
him.
crazy.
I don't
in that
care.
house.
Good for
No,
him.
I don't care if he's with a that's fine. But I've never seen a coach.
Go to
Bob Knight's not bringing in, any of these great coaches. They're not bringing. They're like that's not a
I mean,
part of the
Pitino
locker
would.
room. He kept it outside the locker room. It never made it to the court.
It only made it to a diner table.
Yeah.
That's it.
9
What about
seconds.
Mark
I'm talking about she's a part of the program, but like she
I
makes
know.
decisions. Nobody's running that team
No, I
on
thought
St.
they
John's
just
except Rick
banned her,
Pitino.
I thought.
They didn't ban. That's not true.
The school announced that she's not allowed
That
to
actually
go to
wasn't
any
No,
of the
they
facilities.
reported. There was a report
not
that
true.
it
That's not
was,
true.
and then I feel like
Fake
once the
news.
report got out there,
They had to
then they
take
went
it
on
back.
a little bit of a damage control run after that.
What about
That's
Mark
my
Davis?
guess.
Who?
Mark Davis for the Raiders. Doesn't
Raiders.
he bring his chick around too?
Well, he's the owner.
Yeah, I guess.
He's not
he had
coaching the team.
chains.
Well, I mean, didn't the Cavs, or not the Cavs, the Browns owner draft Johnny Manziel because a homeless person told him to?
I'm not saying guys don't make dumb decisions. I'm talking about having a distraction like that automatically built in.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's
That's what I'm saying.
it's just
I mean,
bizarre.
The Knicks drafted who over Halliburton?
Obi Toppin.
These franchises make horrible decisions.
I
I'm
mean,
talking
Obi
about-
Toppin had one of the biggest dunks in playoff history.
No,
I mean,
Toppin's not bad.
And he won. Did he win a dunk contest with the Knicks?
He probably
No, I
is.
think
No, I don't
No,
think
he,
he's ever won.
he was
He
in
won,
two of them.
right?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
in.
But he wasn't
Why I
bad.
traded
He had a good
his ass.
showing
It's
in
fine.
the contest.
He didn't embarrass himself.
Yeah.
Like, he was good.
Ross, who's the worst Knicks draft pick in the last 10 years?
Ooh.
Because y'all have a lot of top 10 picks.
Who's the guy they took over Curry?
No,
in the
they
last
didn't.
10
They didn't get a
years.
chance
Curry
to
didn't
take.
get to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, Curry got.
It was Hill
Curry
at
was
8.
picked.
Hill at 8, Curry at 7.
Yeah,
Who's the guy they took from Arizona?
Jordan Hill.
They took him over who?
Nobody that I can recall right now, but that Curry was a pick
It
immediately.
was the 09
before.
draft, so like Drew Holiday was in that draft.
Well, Drew Holiday went. He was like 21st
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
to the 6th.
DeMar
I don't know
DeRozan was in
why I
that
remember
draft.
that, but
But anyway, yeah. So the last 10 years.
I don't know. There's
who's the worst draft
That's
pick?
a long list. Yeah.
that's Frank Ntilikina,
Ooh, Frankie Smokes.
Frankie Smokes,
Ntilikina.
Frankie Nicotine.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Kevin Knox.
Knox might be the worst one.
He might be. And
They drafted Porzingis.
That's a good pick.
Porzingis was a great pick.
Just got hurt.
Who the fuck is Tingus
Who did Phil Jackson draft? Because wasn't he bad?
Porzingis.
Did he have another pick? Another draft? I mean, Isaiah Thomas was a bad drafter.
Isaiah Thomas was a
No, those picks were
he was
good.
a weirdly good draft.
Yeah,
They
he-
didn't keep him.
He's got an eye for talent.
Yeah, he's not. And he wasn't good picking early. He was great at making value.
His was free
picks.
agent signing.
Value
Yeah.
picks were like his thing. You could find a guy like David
David
Lee.
Lee was a great pick.
David Lee,
That was a good pick.
Nate Robinson. I mean, that was like so. These are
I sat next to the Nick scout when they drafted Robinson. He was mesmerized by him.
he's a freak athlete.
Yeah.
You know, cornerback and point guard. That's a pretty hard combo.
Had a good career.
Yeah, overall pretty good.
He almost
career.
died. Didn't he have
Yeah, he got a.
He has a
kidney.
kidney. Yeah.
Kidney problem?
Phil Jackson had a bad signing. He signed Emmanuel Mudiay to like kind of an expensive
He was
contract
stealing money
off the
from-
Nuggets.
I mean, he was just.
I think that was a trade.
What's the trade? I thought
Or it may have been free agent signing, but I mean those big teams were just beyond horrific. Alexei Shved and
What's the worst Celtics pick of all time? I
Probably-
mean, like a viable pick.
Probably Joe Forte over Tony Parker. We gave Tony Parker the
Oh
hat.
my gosh.
We were supposed to draft him, but Red, he was a little senile then. He's like, you can't draft Europeans, they're soft, and overruled it. He's like, look at this guy in college. He had a great year. He's like, All-American, blah, blah, blah. So they picked Joe Forte, and Tony Parker had a Celtics hat.
George Forte from Notre Dame. Or North
Carolina.
Carolina.
Yeah.
I liked him in college. He was cool.
Yeah, he was good in college. So yeah, he's probably up there. Just because of who we didn't draft.
could have got
The number, according to this website, GiveMeSport.com, Mike Sweetney was the number one worst pick of all time for the Knicks
We have his jersey.
in franchise history.
I do have a Georgetown jersey.
I don't know. And then Frederick Weiss was 2. Played in 1999.
Frederick Weiss actually might be up because I mean it's on our test. They picked Weiss over our test. Mike Sweetney, that was a LeBron draft, so I'm glad the Knicks got a real notable player from that one.
Yeah.
Kevin Knox is 4, so he's in the conversation.
And they got Lampe.
Oh man, yeah.
Remember?
Big on
Lampe?
that.
Yeah,
He was
an
an
ex-Dirk.
but he was good.
He was an ex-Dirk from Poland, and just
Next
didn't-
Dirk.
It didn't work out.
What do you think he's doing now?
Probably smoking cigarettes, knowing he's
Maybe. I'm going through this
One pack a
list
day.
because I really wanted to. I'd have to say between Frank Ntilikina and Kevin Knox are really asking me to pick between my children here. These are
All right, so probably slight easier question. Is this the highest Knicks team in your lifetime? Like, is this the best team you've seen?
No,
No.
the 99 team was more exciting.
I mean, I don't think that was a better team.
No, that was an exciting run.
And then,
Eight
you know,
seed?
8 seed.
To make the finals?
To make the finals.
That was amazing. And they had LJ,
The
Rebel.
4-point play.
Yeah. But the Knicks have an actual chance to win this. Did you think in '99 that they had a chance?
No chance.
No,
Against the
so-
Spurs, like, no.
So
Yeah, I did not think they had a chance.
I mean, I think they actually have a chance. If
They do have a better chance this year.
get through.
I think so, too.
So this is probably a better team.
Well, the best chance is going to be 94.
yeah.
Like, that was.
That was
and
their
I'm-
shot.
That was the year.
They won 7 games.
Yeah, I'm dating
They took-
myself
they
here,
took
but like
Kevin Knox.
I was alive for that. I remember.
They took Kevin Knox at 9, and then they could have had Bridges, Mikal Bridges, who's on the Knicks now,
You could have still had 5 first-round picks.
and SGA.
That's
There you go.
There you
my
go.
God.
And here I am screaming about Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah,
just to like it's
That's a bad draft.
Kevin Knox. Yeah, it's just horrible.
I mean, you could Mo Wagner at 25. He's better than Kevin Knox.
Well, they got Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah.
They're set.
Yeah, that's fine there.
It's a good pick.
John, so what's next for your Pistons?
I think they're going to stay pat. I don't think they're going to do anything crazy yet. They're gonna lie to themselves and say,
Internal improvement?
let's see what Ivy can do.
Mm-hmm.
Can I interest you in a Drew Holiday?
I would take the only guy on your team I want is Brown. I would take him.
Yeah, I don't think you'd
I would make a move for Brown.
What would you trade for Brown? Because is Asar on
Clearly.
the table? Is Duran on the table?
Yeah, if you give me Thompson and Ivy, I'll do it.
What about Thompson and Duran?
I love Duran. You
Yeah.
know I do.
I would give up Thompson. The other guys I'd give up. I like Thompson.
I really like
He's
Thompson.
really good.
I think he could be
Both
like
brothers.
those guys
Both
could
of them.
be.
Both of them.
They're the best athletes in the NBA,
It's insane.
which is that's hard to say. He had a play against the Knicks, like he was boxed out and his hands were like tied up, but he like shot it in with his head and still made the basket. It was like he was like a worm like coming out of the ground. It was unbelievable. I couldn't trade him. I could move Duran or Ivy for sure for Brown. I would do that,
Yeah, I think you need.
but they're not going to do that. I mean, Boston. That's an impossible trade.
Yeah. Ferris, what about your Lakers? What's next for them?
Yeah, they're like
They're gonna get Jokic.
It's like every Laker fan.
You know, the thing I hate about it is like I talked. One of my buddies is a Laker fan
They
too.
said the
Is
same
that they, all the time, the most ridiculous shit. And like,
Jokic.
but
And it happens
and
sometimes.
before, like, it just be like, no chance, no chance, no chance. And then the Luka trade happens.
Yeah.
Like, I have no leg to stand on anymore.
They just
They do want to play
It
together.
could happen.
They do want to play together, Luka and Jokic, but I just don't.
That
see
would be
it.
an insane two-man, dude.
Like you go through NBA history, like they trade Vlade for Kobe, they trade a broken Anthony Davis for Luka. Like it's just so stupid how they just keep.
The Lakers
How can they
just-
keep getting away with this?
They
They,
got Shaq.
they are. I mean, they're the glamour franchise of the NBA.
Yeah.
And so that's just like
They're-
they're the only ones who can do it.
Yep.
That's
They
the only
literally can
franchise.
just buy their way.
They
They
can-
can trade their way out of a problem. They just
The Lakers are never going to be irrelevant for a long period of time. They will find a way to make it happen.
And the players
So fair.
too.
Yeah.
For near future, what can the Lakers do? What do you want them to do? Jokic is on the table this offseason. I'm sorry to break it to you, but who knows about the
Long-term.
future?
Exactly. They're gonna end up getting him eventually. LeBron's gonna retire, then they're gonna need someone
So yeah,
else.
does LeBron leave? Because he can leave, right, Bill?
I don't think he's even.
He's not leaving.
not-
But he has the ability to.
He can. He has a player
Right?
option.
But he has the ability.
Do you
but
think
he's
he
not.
has 2 more years left?
LeBron's going
If
to
he
call him when
wants.
LeBron
I mean,
wants to
physically,
call it.
He can
play in the
still
NBA,
play it. Yeah,
Do you
if he
think?
wanted
Do you
to.
think he'll play this year, and then he'll play with Bryce the following year, and then he'll have Bryce, Bronny, and LeBron all on the same floor?
Maybe
I mean, you could be trying
you
to
can
do
do
that.
it. In turn, like he's still going to be an elite kind of level player, at least on that precipice.
I mean, obviously, if he has any major injuries done,
Yeah.
if he can avoid that, he can still keep going.
I think that's what he's trying to do, play with all his kids, and then he's done.
You know, if he pops his Achilles,
Then
we're
he's
never
out.
seeing him again.
Yeah.
Frost, worst case scenario, say Knicks lose in 5, 6, 7. What do you want them to do this offseason?
That's a great question.
What's the next
They
stage?
have to get a workable bench. Like really, it's huge. Like they don't have a single player off the bench that they can deploy on the wing. Like literally, their rotation off the bench is going to be some mix of Campaign, Miles McBride,
You know, like
both small. They're
1 second.
He's great. He's just a small guard. You know, like it's just he's tiny.
Yeah.
McBride hits shots.
Yeah, he's just like he's a microwave.
But,
you know,
but
like
the problem with you guys having a bench, Tibbs is still your coach. He's never ran a bench, even when he's had a bench. Like his team with Chicago, they had a bench then, and they ran Rose to the ground, Luol Deng to the ground.
Well, you need one out of necessity, just because there are going to be times where
So
Bridges is durable.
Is Tibbs going to get fired? Is that the? I mean, you got some good coaches on the market. You got Mike Malone. You got Taylor Jenkins. You got some good coaches on the market. You got
seeing it too.
Mike, the Suns coach. You have some good coaches on the market. So would you fire Tibbs?
I think
I don't think. I mean, there was a point where I thought Tibbs' job security. That the game one of the Celtics series. It was just real. It was just like, okay, this might be the series that gets Tibbs canned, because it was going to be another uncompetitive performance against an elite team. They would have been 0-11,
I believe
at
so.
that point against the Cavs, Celtics, and the Thunder, and that I thought at that point it is possible that he could probably get canned if they just get run off the floor in uncompetitive fashion. But I think getting past the Celtics is sure
it's going to save him.
It's going to save him at least a year, and maybe more. Maybe next year if they take a step
If they got
back.
swept in the series, that could hurt him.
Beating the Celtics gives you a lot.
I don't know.
I
I feel like beating the Celtics, because that was the whole knock on the Knicks all throughout the season. It's like they built this team to beat
the
Well,
Celtics.
first of all, when's the last time the New York Knicks beat the Celtics in a playoff series?
2013.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah,
that was the
Is it
twilight
Celtics
years.
team?
Twilight years
Yeah.
of the Kevin Garnett.
Yeah, it was their
years.
last
Knicks
year.
were the
It
2
was
seed.
like
I believe.
2-0
The
teams
Celtics
beating
were the
each
7th seed. No, I mean Knicks were solid that year.
But they weren't a championship.
They ran into
They
LeBron.
were the
They
second
actually
seed.
they were up there.
They thought they were going to beat LeBron.
Who won the title in 13?
The Heat.
So they lost to the championship, or they lost to the eventual championship.
That was the D-Wade LeBron team.
No, they lost to the Pacers in the second round.
Pacers, yeah.
Yeah, and then the
Because
next
that's-
finals
Oh,
was
yeah, the
Heat.
Pacers
Yeah.
were great.
They were going
Yeah,
to
'cause
beat the Heat.
Tyson Chandler, and J.R. Smith.
Come on.
So what wing on the market are if you're looking at anything, that's what the Knicks need, you're saying? So are there any mid-level exception players that you have your eye on? Who's your dream scenario? Let's say that.
I guess we should ask, is there anybody from Villanova that we haven't added to the Knicks yet?
What was that? Can be kind of down lately since
They should give
Coach
Vincenzo
Vincenzo.
back.
They had he's in the draft this year, but he might be a second rounder. I don't really know exactly in terms of just a name per se, off the top of my head at least. But it's just untenable when you have literally nobody. Like if Anunoby got hurt,
Well, even if they had a guy like a Tim Hardaway off the bench.
yeah, something.
Like, look how much he helped the Pistons. I mean, he started, but we kind of insulated with these role players, these vets, and it made us deeper.
Yeah.
If you got a couple guys like that, if you had Tobias Harris and Hardaway, you probably win the series.
I think those are
That's
perfect.
asking a
Yeah,
lot.
those are kind of those profile names. We were talking earlier about before we came on air whether it would be better if the Knicks had Randall and DiVincenzo. And the one when the trade happened, when Cat got traded, the one reservation I did have was just because of the bench. And DiVincenzo's role on that was so prominent, and so it was critical.
When Brunson would have a bad game or wasn't there or whatever, you could just put DiVincenzo. He could bring the ball up.
Right, and there's been no dimension like that on this Knicks team. You literally live and die by the starters. It's probably the least productive. I mean, I don't have the numbers.
That's another thing I don't like about the series. Bartley said it. When the Knicks score, it's either Towns or Brunson. The Pacers have like 10 guys that can score. I just don't know how that.
And they're pressing the whole game. They're running fast-paced on offense. I don't know how the Knicks can hang with them. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Tibbs gets fired
But the first
from this series.
the first 85% of the game, the Knicks looked like the better team. It was only the last bit of the game.
because they ran out of gas. They run
That's true.
I think
7-man lineup.
I mean, I think it was more than just running out of gas, like that collapse. But
Put off
the
the
one
gas
thing
and
about
out
this,
of gas.
I mean, the thing about it is that even though they had this huge collapse, it was a 3-point game, and
In overtime.
They're in overtime, and Brunson and Towns, they were unstoppable too. You know, like the Pacers weren't able to slow them down really at all. So I mean, if you're the Pacers, it's kind of like okay, they were able to survive that. But if that were to happen again, and it can, you know, Towns and Brunson, these are great players. This is what they do. But if they start getting actual consistent production from Anunoby, like I mentioned earlier, then that changes the entire, you know.
I thought he killed us. Every time
He did.
Every time
We
he
had a
did
big
business,
series against them.
I felt like he was open. He just made every shot. Like
Why
he
did-
never missed a shot against us. It felt like the whole series.
Why does Bridges get a pass?
He does
Because he gets his.
because he's likable. He's smiling.
No, it's not. It's not even just that. It's that he has to do basically everything, especially on the defensive end. He has like they're assigning him. He's running through. I think I was reading an article about in terms of since the NBA started keeping track of statistics like how many screens
Right.
a player runs through per game. Like Bridges has shattered that amount. Like nobody's even within screaming distance of him.
He gets a pass offensively.
And that I think that's probably
So
a
does
little
Hart,
bit
too.
more. Yeah, I do agree that he gets more of a
Yeah,
pass.
he's not really an offensive player either.
offensively.
He's everything but.
Bridges' problem for me this year has been I don't know what happened to where his level of aggression has been dialed back. I don't think I've seen a player more drive to the basket and just stop and fade away as opposed to just finishing a layup.
I thought against Boston, in those last, I felt like he made every mid-range jump shot.
He did.
Yeah, he took a lot of-
I mean, it was just
like
it
was like every time.
that second game in Boston,
in every
like,
one of them.
the Knicks were horrible, even in that comeback. During the comeback, it was just Bridges really that were kind of had that.
He's just not an offensive player that you can count on. He could get 25 in a game. He could get 7.
Yep.
That's just kind of what he is. But is that a pat? What's he make a year?
He's a max guy.
I think
Yeah,
what
he
he's
should-
making is fine. I think it's what the Knicks gave up for him, which was
Yeah,
5
5
first-round
rounds.
picks. They would have waited just another season. They could have got Giannis.
If you give up that much, you got to be almost a guaranteed 20. I feel like.
Luka didn't get that. Fucking Karl Anthony Towns didn't get that.
Does Luka get in shape this?
But I mean,
His wife posted like pictures of like some meal she's making him, and it was all health food.
They just hired a new trainer.
I'd be like
For him, I
divorced if
think.
my wife did that shit.
I mean,
It was so bad.
his conditioning. I feel like that story is kind of overblown.
Yeah.
'Cause, he's a minutes hog, and you don't do that by being out of shape.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
He does get winded though. Like you could see him physically
I
tired.
mean, he is a bad defensive player. He's one of the worst defensive players.
He does get winded, but it's also like I feel like when you're looking at a player like Luka, who's again when you're basically ball dominant, you're going to be running everything, running the offense. You're going to be the focal point of the other team's defense. It's very easy to see how that can wear somebody out over the course of 48 minutes.
So, for game 2, what's the key to the Knicks winning the game?
Don't blow it.
No, but you got to play.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, I mean, I actually think, speaking seriously, it really has to start by playing their pace.
Like, can Brunson play better?
Yeah, Brunson and Towns.
They had like, I mean, if
They played a
43
great game 1.
They did.
That's
That's
the
the
first.
part disheartening.
It's playing. It goes back to the pace. They just have to be able to play their game. If the Knicks can play
Slow
their
the
game,
game down.
slow the game
Up.
down. If
They
slow the
play
game
more
down-
physical.
Yes.
'Cause I
And the
think
thing
that's-
is, like Miles Turner's great, but I mean, like having Cat go down again, that's a favorable matchup for the Knicks.
But like Siakam didn't even play well.
No.
I mean, neither did Bridges or Anunoby really.
True.
I think the Knicks win game 2, but the Pacers win 3 and 4.
I think the Knicks will take one of the games on the
You
road.
think so? Yeah,
It feels like a zigzag series, and we're just going to end up going 7.
could be.
I mean, that'd be great for the NBA. if it goes
I mean, they
seven.
need it because this Western Conference
Yeah,
series
this is-
sucks,
this
and
is-
nobody's watching.
It's going to
it.
be a 5-game series, I think. The West.
If they're lucky.
I don't know if
I don't even know if we'll get that far.
I think.
I
they'll
mean,
win a game.
and like I already thought he was having a bad playoffs. Like Randall outplayed him in those first 2
Yeah, he
series,
did.
but like now on the biggest stage where they really need him, I mean, he's putting up concert dates as his shooting percentage. What was he, 12 for 26 again tonight?
yeah, he's.
He ain't the guy, dude.
I don't think so either. I think he's a little. I don't think he's that great. I don't think he's like going to take that step to be? Is he going to be a championship player?
I
don't
think
know.
he is.
You think so?
Yeah, I like it. I like Ant.
When he's on, I mean, it's great, but I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be.
He hasn't learned how to make others better, and
That's
until
true.
you do that, you're not going to be a champion. Like that's
You don't think his coach Jeff Daniels is getting through to him?
no, I don't think the coach is very good, and I don't think his teammates are. I mean, he's got like Rudy Gobert out there. He's got. I mean, I love Naz Reid, but he lost his shot.
He's fading. Like,
They shouldn't have traded Towns, I don't think.
You can tell some of these guys from last year, they look so much better in the playoffs than like this year. They're kind of one-shot deals.
I like McDaniels.
Yeah, McDaniels is good.
I don't know. I'm personally not crazy about him. I feel like anytime the team is down, he's nothing. It's whenever they're up, he's like
He's a front runner.
yeah. He plays well when they're up, and you could say he's the X factor in that sense. When he plays well, they win. But I'm sure what you guys were just saying, Ant doesn't make the other guys better.
No, he does not do him any favors.
He said it halfway through the season. He was like, "I'm getting double teamed every possession. I'm 23. I don't want to pass the ball." So you can say it's a maturity thing. I know like the casual NBA fan loves Anthony Edwards because he takes bad shots and he dunks and he talks shit. It's aura ball, and it's my knock on him. Maybe he'll wise up when he gets older, but I don't really see it. Does he ever win a championship in his time? I don't know.
I don't think. I mean, it's hard to say ever, but right now I would say no.
I would probably say no. I don't think he could be the 1A guy, but I
He
also
could
think
mature. You never like Ron Artest matured. If you would have said that to me, I would have said when you saw him in the Mouse and the Palace, you said he would have won. He's going to win a championship with the Lakers.
And he's going to be a big factor in
He's
why
going to
they
be
win
winning shot.
basically.
You wouldn't think. So these guys, you can't ever count them out.
So
They have
would
the talent.
So would Ant have to be the third or second option to win a championship? Probably.
I don't think he can be the 1A.
Yeah, I think with his mindset, he does think he's Jordan. We could talk about him being Jordan's son, memes and conspiracy theories all we want, but
Is that a real thing?
people actually think that
So
he's like they'll go side by side, and it's a meme, right? But with his mindset, I don't think he'll ever be a 2 option.
How do you think Michael Jordan's going to be on TV on NBC?
I can't wait to hear.
basketball.
I can't wait
He's gonna be
to.
terrible.
I can't
He's
wait to
gonna
hear
be
his sports
awful.
bets.
Do you think he'll be better than Isaiah Thomas?
No.
Isaiah was
Isaiah
good on TV.
has
He's
charisma.
He's great on TV.
Even though everybody knows he's a piece of shit, it's like he can actually put on a
Jordan, I don't think
face.
he'll come off as likable.
No, because he's not.
Yeah.
But
He's a
Gretzky does
psychopath.
the same
But
thing.
that-
Gretzky doesn't come off well on TV, but
Yeah, Gretzky sucks on TV as well.
But you
Well,
know, I mean,
Gretzky
there's-
sucks.
you're going to watch the first couple
Oh,
shows. You're going to see Jordan.
I can't
Yeah,
wait
see
to
it.
hear his sports picks. He's going to be a degenerate on there. I'm excited. I think him being unlikable, I think that's what the.
I think if you put
I
him
think
like
that's what the
Barkley,
casual
it would be
NBA
amazing.
fan. I think that's what the
Barkley
casual
would
NBA
love
fan
it.
wants.
Yeah.
I don't know about it because it depends on how willing he's going to be to just engage. Like
Can he make? I don't think he can make fun of himself either.
yeah, that's the thing about like Shaq and Barkley are wonderful.
Yeah, they'll be
because
sitting
they can
there
be-
and balls will fall off. And hit
Yeah,
the head.
they can be
I
so
think Shaq has to shit on live TV.
Yeah. And they're still great.
Yeah.
Like they were great players themselves. I don't know.
But hearing him comment about like the modern game, like even if he does
Oh,
take
you'd be
himself
interested.
super
Yeah.
seriously, like that's going to be much.
You got to watch it for sure. It's good for sure.
I can tell you already what he's going to say. It's not, it's not the same as it was when I played.
It's not physical.
It's not as physical. It's the same shit with these
See,
guys.
NBC's not
They're
going to do
all
that crap
divas.
though. They don't want to tear down the modern game, so I don't think they bring him in to be.
He has to be like a real broadcaster.
Yeah, exactly. Like it has.
Who's he paired with?
I mean, he's just going to be the special guest, whatever. Like,
Who's the main guy?
I don't know. What they got? Jalen Rose. Who they got?
Yeah, I think Rose is back, right?
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Rose got
Rose is
fired by
good.
ESPN.
Rose is really good.
And who signed with Amazon? Dirk and who? Blake, right?
Oh, Dirk's gonna broadcast.
Yeah, Dirk, Blake.
Dirk and Blake are going to be on the
Somebody
Amazon.
else too. Amazon got somebody good
Blake
too.
Griffin.
But
Blake
yeah,
Griffin will be good.
Blake's awesome.
He's entertaining. Dirk seems likable whenever it's like off
It's
shit.
just like I'm wondering if they have the the outgoing personality to actually engage with an audience or at least draw in that audience.
I mean, even if he doesn't, Blake is going to be his star right next to him, and we've seen Blake's a borderline comedian. Like
He does
has
stand-up.
done
He
stand-up,
literally
yeah.
does stand-up comedy.
There's a third person. I can't remember who it is. I don't know if it's one of the females on there or if it's
Bob Costas?
That'd be cool,
It'd be cool on NBC.
right?
So all the TV contracts are up after the season?
No, they just signed.
They
like,
just start
like
after the season.
2 years
Yep.
ago.
So yeah, TNT's done, and
So when are they supposed to announce the new teams
New teams.
to the NBA?
when the
There.
season opens, I guess they'll have whoever's there. 'Cause, yeah, they already hired everybody.
No, I think he means
Expansion?
Yeah.
Expansion.
Yeah,
what do you think?
We're
I was
like
thinking
3 years
2
away.
years.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Will we get a like a team that comes here, or will we get our own new
we'll get our
expansion
own team because they want that expansion money.
Would you guys get season tickets?
No.
I
Maybe
probably
like
can't.
20.
I probably can't afford them.
I mean, it
Yeah,
depends.
with the assumption if you were to say, hey, here's some season tickets, I'd say, yeah, sure.
But they're not going to be cheap.
They won't.
I'd rather get the A's or something.
I might get the A's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Side note, speaking about small market teams earlier, if it is Thunder and Pacers in the finals, those are two small market
That would be
teams.
awesome.
I mean,
Good basketball.
viewership wise, I mean, how much we should talk as as fans, the viewership is down, but we just saw the Eastern Conference Finals, one of the highest viewed games ever in the last 10 years, right?
Right, but the West is the lowest.
The West is the lowest. So are people going to tune in for the Thunder Pacers? Maybe for game 1 and 2, but if the Thunder beat them in 5,
Probably not.
it's going to be a low rated. So is that on the NBA for not marketing them correctly? Because they could highlight, hey, these are two of the best point guards in the league. We got the MVP, a rising star in Tyrese, or are they going to kind of drop the ball like did
I
the
actually-
Thunder?
I feel like Indiana should be marketed more. They're the biggest basketball state in the country, I would say, arguably.
The Pacers have a little bit to them.
And they've been in finals before.
Like Halliburton has a personality. The Thunder are just like a machine. They don't. There's
Nobody likes watching.
They're
the Thunder.
annoying, dude. I hate their little group interviews. I hate their fucking not shenanigans.
I don't dislike the
Their
Thunder.
nonsense.
I actually like them.
The only thing I like about the Thunder is Chet, and then that's because he went to Gonzaga. Besides that, I don't really.
The roster I actually like. It's Shea I have somewhat of a problem with. Maybe not him as like an individual, but I don't like the group interviews like you said either. I don't like his foul baiting, his antics on the court.
Yeah.
But I'm sure off the court he's fine. It seems like the rest of the league likes him. I know the younger people love Shea, they love Ant. So I'm shocked that the West viewership is down because I thought young people watch
Well, I
basketball.
just think more people.
Small market teams.
no Warriors or Lakers.
No, yeah, you're-
And more people stream it now. That's why the viewership is down. They just stream
Like
it
if this was
online.
a Warriors, Thunder, Western, it would be such a bigger draw. People would be
Yeah.
watching it.
Does it matter though? The NBA already had such a win this whole playoffs.
I agree.
They could
I
afford
agree.
it.
This is the best playoffs I can think of in a long time. Like at least
Since 2016.
probably at least 10 years.
Yeah, at least. And 2016 is really, I think it's just comes down
I
to
love
one series,
Yeah.
a singular series, but like in terms of on a whole from first round to now, like this playoffs is probably I can say it's been the most entertaining that I've.
It's the last time I've made an attempt since the Heat LeBron teams because you either hated them or you wanted them to win. It was so polarizing.
2019 I liked because that was the Warriors run that we all hated them because Durant joined them. You have the Kawhi shots.
That was a decent.
And
Yeah,
then,
but that ended up sucking because everybody got hurt.
but you saw a first-time champion with the Raptors. I enjoyed that whole run, but 2016 might have been the highlight. Of course, for us, we're biased. We probably liked last year the best. I'm glad it was the cakewalk for us.
Oh God, last
Well,
year.
last year's
probably
finals was-
the
I mean, not the
worst.
finals. It was one of the worst
NBA
playoffs I've
in
seen.
terms of
Everybody got hurt.
and every game was
awful.
awful. Every game was just a massacre.
Halliburton got hurt. The Bucks were all.
Even the game the Mavs beat the Celtics, they blew the Celtics out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There was not
so it
one.
wasn't even
There wasn't a good
It was
game
not-
in the finals. But even beyond the finals, the I don't know the regular the regular playoffs were just kind of.
blowouts too.
I like the bubble playoffs. A lot of people hate on the bubble, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I like the playing games. I think it's brought a new
No,
good
the bubble.
dynamic. Oh, the bubble.
Yeah, there was like
That's
crazy
fine.
shots, crazy moments.
A
lot of people hate on it,
different,
but I
with
don't
no
think it's
fans. It is way different with no fans. Like Westbrook's yelling at like the families and the babies on the sideline.
That's awesome.
You're fucking children. Like we're doing the rock the baby and stuff.
It's kind of like a science experiment, though.
It really was.
There's no home court advantage. There's no like you're just in the same gym as everybody else. You guys stay there. I think that's kind
liked it a
of
lot.
it's just
And
playing
that's-
basketball.
and that
But
was the
basketball
first
is at a
year.
very high level.
Like, there's no bullshit.
There's no travel. There was
Yeah.
no.
That was the first year the Heat with Jimmy Butler heroics making the finals.
Playoff Rondo.
Yeah.
Rondo was so good in that series, especially the finals.
He was great. I think they would have won back-to-back if they didn't break that team up.
Yeah, that's.
Because who won?
I agree.
Yeah.
They probably went out of their way to dismantling like all the strengths of that team into weaknesses in one offseason.
It made no sense.
It made no sense.
What does Denver do? Can they make a move to make their team? Because like you were talking about, the Knicks need a bench. I think Denver's in the same situation. If they could just add a couple more bench guys, they might be playing in this Western Conference Finals right now.
What are they going to do? Are they ever going to trade
can't
Murray
do
or
that.
Porter Jr.? Like, that's what it's going to come
I think
down
Porter Jr. is the one that's killing him with his
He's
contract
so bad.
because he's just not. He's not the guy for what they're paying.
They have the same problem that so many other teams have, is a cheap owner.
Yeah.
That's why the team got blown up in the first place. Would they have gone, further along? Would they still be relevant today if they didn't give up KCP? I know
Yeah,
he
they
was
should've
trashed
kept
with
him.
the Magic, but he was the only shooter on the Magic.
No, the year
now
they
on the
won,
Nuggets,
he was big.
He's huge. He guards the team's
Massive.
best player, and I think that's the Nuggets' biggest weakness. It's not their bench. They don't have a point of attack defender.
I do like Christian Brown, though. I thought that...
But now they're going to have to pay him. And, like, do you want to pay that guy $30 million?
Yeah, I heard he's up for extension for $30 million. That's
He's
what he's
not
projected to
that
get.
good
For
for
Christian Brown, $30 fucking million. They're already paying Michael Porter Jr.
He's like a fun
I
player.
think
but
he's better than Michael Porter Jr.
Maybe for the other things like running the floor, but Porter Jr. is clearly a better shooter. But the thing
I
is,
don't know about
They
that.
both would be overpaid if you
Very
if you pay
overpaid.
them.
I don't like the
It's just
scenario where I
bad.
pay either of them.
That's
it's
crazy.
either of them. But also, who did the Nuggets get for MPJ? I think his name around the league is kind of tarnished with the contract and his production.
And his durability issues.
Yep.
You could probably get like Kuminga. You could probably get like somebody.
That's an interesting one.
So
I actually feel like
what he
Kuminga's
assigned
actually
to
That would
be
be
a pretty
good for the
interesting
Nuggets.
piece.
Well, the Warriors
Yeah,
get rid
but
of Kuminga.
You put a guy like him with Jokic. Jokic, I mean, he took Russell Westbrook's dead body out of the grave
Yeah,
and
give him an athlete.
gave him something. I mean,
But-
he was decent this year.
but then he dug his grave again. Westbrook.
No, he can't help himself. But I'm saying
he can't help himself.
He at least did. Jokic made him look reasonable. Jokic can make you look good.
Yeah.
Put a guy like Kuminga with him, that could be kind of dangerous.
I don't know.
Billy, do you know?
Who?
Aaron Gordon?
Aaron Gordon has a decent sized contract. He's probably making starter money, probably 20 to 30 million.
He's worth that.
No, he's phenomenal.
And he actually works on his game too. You see, he's been
Like,
making
added the
threes.
three-
And he's like
He should
Jokic's favorite player in the team. He's not.
He's the only guy that cuts or does the dirty work or like sets
He hit,
screens.
I mean, he was having a great playoffs before they got. He hit every big shot they
He should
needed
be
this
paid
year.
more than MPJ.
All right, guys. I mean, I think we covered it. We should definitely. I think we'll do another NBA show probably after a couple more games in this series. Certainly before the finals.
In the future, if they make the finals, you're the only Knicks fan that we know. So
For certainly you're watching the game if they make the finals.
Are you like type to yell at the TV when like bad shit's going on? Like I want your reactions. Like we could do a live show.
Ordinarily, this playoffs has been really weird, just because like it's been so intense. Like I consumed the Detroit series like a normal human being. Like,
we thought because we thought we just thought we were going to get killed by.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
So it didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
But actually, they could have won. Like obviously the next one.
Yeah, so like,
it's
I think after like when I saw game one happening, it just was like, what the fuck is like going? And
Yeah.
since then, like I literally watch these games pretty much in silence, like a sociopath,
Super fandom.
like and just freaking out at every single miscue or moment, but like in silence.
The thing with the Knicks that's fascinating to watch, they're so like when it's high, when the high is so high, and then when the low is, they're ready to turn on. Like even the game they beat the Pistons in Game 6, you could feel like if they lost that game, then all the pressure is going to be on at home in Game 7.
100%.
And if that's like a one possession game in the fourth quarter, you almost feel like they're going to crumble like what they did against the Pacers. But then Brunson bailed them out, hit the shot, Towns hit shot. They won the game. So it's like the fans are so hungry for a championship. That's what it is. So the desperation level is insanity.
And I'm glad you kind of brought that up too, because I think to put into context just how insane last night was.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson is considered the most, if
He
not
won
the
the
most
award.
clutch player in the league.
He hits a lot of big shots.
Yeah, the Knicks are pretty good down the stretch in closing games. So, like, to see that happen the way it did, it was just, I think that made it all the more jarring. It's just like, this is a team that normally...
But if you would have told me the Celtics would blow 2 20-point leads at home back, I would have said that's impossible.
I said, I would have said
Impossible.
Crazy.
That is crazy to me.
Tell us about it. I mean, I'm fucking miserable about the whole thing.
That's why I
like,
kind
it
of
sucks
blame
Tatum is
The
hurt.
coach a little. I feel like another coach wouldn't. You don't. If you had Rick Carlisle coaching that team, you're going to New York 1-1. You're not going down 0-2. You're not losing both those basketball games. That's just my
I
opinion.
mean, you could argue that shots weren't falling.
They missed open shots and they were all hurt.
Go to the. I think he's. But when you're 25 for
20 points.
The Celtics were 25 for 100.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. And then,
I
and
think
then they shot
Carlisle-
great game 3. And
I think
everything was fine
Carlisle's
again.
saying go. Carlisle's not going to say stop shooting. Look at the Pacers, but he did run plays where they go to the basket too. Like,
Yeah.
I think a different coach would have won that series, or at least maybe got it to a game 7. Once Tatum went down, they probably
So
won
the
the
series
series.
is over.
Yeah.
It's
hard to say
It
that.
sucks. Like, again, obviously, it's horrible that Tatum got hurt, but my biggest issue, I love this team. Like, I came to admire this team so much from the top to the bottom, from the coaches and everything, and so many of the players aren't going to be here anymore. From like Al Horford, what we said earlier, Drew might get traded, Porzingis is gone, and we won't see this team again. And that's what hurts the most for me as a Celtics fan.
It's a great line from Platoon. You got it. Everybody's got to die sometime. It's just the way it is.
Yeah,
And
but that
Celtics-
banner's going to hang long.
No, I know,
after
but
that.
for sure. But this team, I mean,
Game
they
one
play.
Porzingis
You got to look at it like this.
matters.
How many teams played? 8 years together?
I mean,
Tatum
they're different
Brown.
incarnations, sure.
But Tatum, the key guys,
Right.
Tatum
Brown,
Brown,
Tatum.
Horford's been there the whole time, right?
He missed the middle, but we brought him back.
This is how I
You only have so
felt
many
the
runs
after
in you.
the
That's why when you get there, you gotta take advantage of it. You may never get back.
But
Yeah,
like Stockton Malone,
windows
windows
are a lot more narrow than...
Like I'll say this as a Piston fan, I don't think we were going to win the championship, but the way this thing broke out, we could have made certain Eastern Conference Finals.
for sure.
It's not
Yeah.
impossible to say, and then you make that, it would have been us versus the Pacers.
Yeah, anybody's
They were
game.
their favorite.
Anybody's game.
But yeah, it's not impossible.
And at least you guys are blowing it up for a reason. Like, you guys got hurt. Like the Lakers after they won, we just blew everything up for no reason. I don't know
Yeah,
what
yeah,
that
no
is.
reason.
Yeah, you guys can't. If you don't
So
have
at least
a way
you
to
guys
win
have,
that
like,
shit.
a
Yeah,
reason.
so
you
there's
have
no
to-
point.
What the fuck?
But like I said, that could be a blessing. You can use that to rebuild, get younger.
I don't know if it can say it's a blessing, but...
It's not.
I mean, it was for the Warriors.
You don't
They
want
got
to
there.
blow.
And it was for the
But they don't.
Spurs.
But Curry didn't blow his Achilles out. He'd be done. He wouldn't be playing right now.
And they got the number 2 pick. I cannot
Shooters
see a
can be in the
scenario
league.
No,
where the
but
Celtics have
Curry's his
Especially
game is
if
quickness.
Jalen Brown's going to be
I
there.
don't think so.
You don't think Steph Curry uses his quickness to play basketball?
Well, yeah, but like there's
I mean-
there's people set off ball screen. It's
His
a whole
superpower
thing.
is his off-ball movement. I wouldn't
Exactly.
just say it's just screens, but
But
it's
he's-
off-ball.
Well, that's what it has to do with
He
this.
needs an Achilles
He has
to
to
run.
run.
I mean, that's like he's the
He
most.
wouldn't be done.
He's quick. I mean, that's a lot of his
But he wouldn't
superpower
be
is
done.
running.
Maybe he's not quicker than Kyrie, but he's second. Okay, he's lightning quick.
Exactly.
Steph Curry.
Kyrie might be done. He's old.
He's got major problems with 20.
He's not playing next year either.
He's
I
probably
think.
fucked.
Yeah.
There's no doubt he's in trouble. His career may never be the same.
Bill, what's Tatum's best case scenario, or even Celtics' best case scenario? There's no chance he comes back this year.
I don't.
No,
Why?
I don't think
Why?
it is.
Why?
He just tore his Achilles 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Why would you rush him back for a season that's lost?
Okay. I mean, so there's
The
no
one
if
chance.
positive
they
I
make
will
the
say
play?
for it is his off foot. It's not his lead foot. So, meaning when he jumps and dunks, it's not that foot that he tends to lead with.
What if
Yeah.
the
So that's a big
Celtics finish as a 5 seed and then he's ready for the playoffs?
You can bring him back.
I mean, that's risky because there's one thing being just coming back, and there's another thing playing playoff basketball, especially
Yeah, I
as
mean-
physical it is.
And an Achilles is that's an injury you cannot.
No, I would
You have to
sit him the
go
whole year, no
slow
matter what.
with that recovery.
Like Ivy was running with the Pistons, but he just shattered his foot. Like you're gonna bring him out there, go guard Brunson in the game 5 on the road. It just doesn't work that way. You have to be in basketball shape.
Faraz, you want Julius Randle?
He missed
He missed 3 layups.
He just missed 3 layups.
No, I actually. The biggest contention I had was DiVincenzo being included in that trade.
Actually-
I knew it had to be, even for
Yeah.
the money to work.
Randall has been their best player this
I'm
whole
impressed with
season.
Randall. He's had a good
Randall's been better than Ant this playoff. So
Yeah.
He has. So Ant had 32.
Let me ask you this, John, and Billy and Jesiah. This is kind of off topic. If you had to pick one of these 3 guys, and granted we had to, granted we still have to see him play. If you had to start your franchise, would you rather have Caleb Williams, Cam Ward, or Jaden Daniels?
Oh, damn.
It's not
Daniels,
close.
how's it even arguable?
Yeah. I
I don't
think it's
know.
arguable.
I mean, we haven't seen Cam.
I will
Ward.
say this: Daniels is going to get hurt the way he's running. He's not built for that.
He did last year. He already got hurt.
But I mean, like,
All right,
you
what
can have a
about-
Tatum,
what about
Achilles,
Ward
or
Williams?
ACL. But I saw Cam Ward. I was actually impressed with him. Just watching him, he looks like a pro quarterback. But
Yeah.
you got to take Daniels. Daniels just made the freaking NFC
I like
Championship game.
Daniels.
Yeah, Daniels is awesome. Caleb Williams. I mean,
I saw him at the Las Vegas Bowl.
when is Caleb Williams? They keep talking about him. I'm waiting for it. You know,
I might see it
SC.
this year.
But I'm just saying. At what point does he actually go out and do something?
I say this is his year. Well, I'm not saying like this is his year to show us.
I mean,
Like, I'm
he's
not
got
saying he's going to ball
the
out.
talent
It's
around
gonna
him
have
is
to be
ridiculous.
this
The
year.
Bears are loaded with
They just
football
picked
players.
another receiver first round. Like
They got the tight end from Michigan.
Loveland.
Yeah,
Let's
they have-
throw
They're not
Trevor
gonna
Lawrence
line
in
him
this
as tight end,
conversation.
though.
well, he's older.
Who?
Yeah, but let's throw Trevor Lawrence in. Like, that's another guy that has to show it this
See,
year.
I think a guy like Lawrence, if you put him on the Dolphins and he got coached by the.
Oh, I wish. Yeah.
But I'm saying he would. I think he actually.
in a bad
on
situation.
Yeah, if he's on a different franchise, I would give him a
He's
shot.
kind of like Sam
To be
Darnold.
reborn.
They're just in bad situations, and then you move him to Minnesota, and he succeeds.
But the thing about Lawrence though, he's got physical. He's better physically than like Darnold. Darnold's got a pop gun
I'm
arm.
just saying Darnold has been on bad teams, so would put him on a decent team with a good coach, then he does well. It's no coincidence.
This isn't going to happen because they paid Darnold. But I heard Milroy was looking better in camp
Yep.
Well,
than Darnold because he's physically.
If he's that bad, then they're going to put him in halfway through the year. I like Milroy. I thought he was the top.
I like
the
him too.
top three.
And Shador, I've heard, is looking good too.
But
I heard he's looked pretty good.
the Browns came out and said that
Everyone's hating on him, but I've heard he's looked pretty good.
they're going to play. Who's
No,
their
it's
star-
practice. But
Who's their starter again this year?
For who?
The Browns 1 and 2 is Pickett and
it's probably
Gabriel.
Joe Flacco.
Pickett and Gabriel. Pickett and Gabriel are their 1 and 2.
Flacco signed with the Browns.
Huh?
Flacco was on the Colts last season.
No, Flacco's on the Browns.
He's on the Browns.
Oh,
Yeah.
is he on the Browns now?
Yeah. So
Yeah, because they showed his hands on the football, and you could barely see the ball, and then they showed Pickens' hands, and he's like got little mitts.
Yeah.
Like it's funny. Like Joe Flacco is. He looks like a pro quarterback. He's 6'8", and he's 230, and he's got a big arm. You know,
And he's like, what, 38?
he's like 40 almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
David Adelman got the job. So we'll wrap this up. We'll be back shortly with the either we'll finish these series or get in the NBA finals for sure. We'll do one. This is the NBA playoffs edition of Club Rats. My name is John.
Billy.
Jesiah.
Fernando.
Faraz.
We'll see you guys next week. Remember to like, subscribe, comment. Thanks.